All right. I guess the title brought them in. Okay,
because they
they're
came.
ready. They're ready. Yeah, they're ready. Ian, I know Ian would show up. And Toya, your link is in. I emailed you the link in case you want to come up. Romello, what's up? I'm listening. Anacetus, D Scott got a story. D Scott has a story.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
Oh no, well yeah, I don't think he's gonna. No, he's not gonna tell it in public. He told it you have to be a patron. He told it behind the wall, but he's not gonna tell it
Got
in
you.
public. Brian, yeah, D Scott know what I'm talking about, so he can he can he can recognize. Okay, Lewis, Prince, Dave. All right. Um, welcome back. I hope the baby's good. Hope the family's good.
Yes, we're getting there. We had a death in the family, so I'm home in Alabama this week.
Okay.
But we're doing as well as it can be expected. Trig is hold at home holding it down, and we'll be back at home with him tomorrow. So
Okay. Alabama.
leave
Alabama's a
home,
strange.
baby. Leave.
It's a strange state, man. That's where my baby mama and her folks are from, and
We are
it
not all the
is a
look.
very strange state. Let's put it this way.
We
Okay.
are not all the same. My parents were from Texas, so I was raised by Texas.
Alabama, Bama. Is your dad an engineer or something like that?
He's in quality assurance for the U.S. government,
Okay.
so he worked for
o-
on the civilian side of the government
Okay.
for
Okay. Yeah.
50 years now.
Okay. He's still at it.
He works for a private contractor now.
Okay.
So, yeah, he
Yeah.
retired in 2017 and went back in 2019. He just couldn't sit still.
He consists still. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can find this. Everybody want to see it, so we're gonna start with it. I just wanted it said this quote years ago. It's got to be God 30 years ago. Yeah, more than 30 years ago. Listen to Frances Cress Welsing at one of her lectures, and yeah, first thing she always said this, right? She says about adults. He says when adults play with sex, the trick is on their children,
Mm.
and it's always been the case. It's always been the case. I was just looking at this video from Soft White Underbelly. They interviewed drug addicts, parents,
Killers and
hookers,
prostitutes and stuff.
prostitutes, right? And this last prostitute, and I was listening to her speak, and I said, "Sound like she black, but she sounded like a valley girl." And she did grow up in the valley, and she grew up in upper middle class places like the 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 uh, the valley. She grew up in West Adams, which is where you have a lot of mansions and stuff like that, upper middle class people. She grew up on the west side, and she they said, how did you wind up in Figueroa? The thing is, her mother took her from man to man. So in other words, a whole lot of stepdaddies. She divorced and
Mm.
her father, and then she went from one stepdaddy to the next. And some of them had money, and I guess the last ones that she was with didn't. So she wound up on the street. But you can
Cool.
tell she's educated. She tells you not she's not a lower class person by the way she's you would think she was white if you listen to her.
Oh, wow.
So she's come from a mixed suburban environment, initially, and she was educated that way. And but whatever her mother was on, she went from one man to the next, and it affected her. So like I said, when you play with sex, joke is on your children. So let
Exactly.
me find this because I guess that's where everybody's here. I've given my thoughts on it. And 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 I know too many guys like that. I actually told a story, and I'll tell this as I'm looking for this video file. Maybe half a mile from me, there's a not a but a hamburger shop, right? Hamburger place, right? Hamburger stand. So damn good ice cream. Um, and they're slow, but the food is good. So it's midday, right afternoon, right like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm off work. I'm down there. I'm getting my order, and I'm waiting for the order. And there's like five guys around, around me, right? And they start talking about baby mamas. And so There was like five of them and me. I said, okay, I got, I said, my claim to fame. I had children by one woman, and that was a feat in itself. But so I'm talking to them, right? And there's five of them. And guess what? The lowest number of babies I had out of wedlock babies they had. Guess what the lowest
What's the
was?
lowest?
The lowest, yes.
What
Give me a
I'm
guess.
gonna give us the benefit of the doubt and say 4.
You're almost pretty good. Five.
Oh, mm-mm. Nah. No, thank you.
Five by three. Okay. Guess what the highest was?
Let's say 7 by 6.
13 by 8.
And I'm done.
This is five, and that's the range, right? And that the one guy had 8, the one guy had 7, one guy had 9. Okay, and this is five guys at random, in midday. They're all waiting for it on their order, and one guy had a nice car. I said, man, how you? That day, I said, man, how you manage 13? I said, you on child support? He said, nope. I said, well, how you manage? He said, well, they get pregnant, and I take them, I put them on the system. And I get I help them manage and get all their benefits and stuff like that. I said they live like say hey. I said he said they he didn't say they were hood rats, but the thing is basically they're hood rats and they're project women and stuff like that, and that's who he messes with. And he had a nice little modern car and he said he does his little hustle on the side and he put they got benefits coming in and they all 13 he managed them all so. He managed his little harem with the help of the government. You there?
Sorry, Ava had come outside. I was like, go back
Okay.
inside.
Okay. No, I was just making sure I didn't lose you.
No, no, no. You lost me to a 2 or 3 year old for 5 seconds. It's fine.
I don't apologize for that.
Look,
Mommy
she's
comes
faster
first.
than her grand. She's way faster than her grand.
Let's see if I can. Oh, here it is. There we go.
Kids and these
Okay.
women that I got.
Okay. This is what everybody's come to see. There's a couple I want to boot up, but this is the main one everybody wants to see.
Yes, this is what
Pregnant
me
that
and
I
hubby.
do not want to be a father to these children. And I offer to
If
pay
you want
for
to
the
pause it, just let
abortion.
me know.
Majority of times they'll either take the abortion or they'll take a plan B. But only these 7 have kept these children. But the crazy thing about it is they want me to be responsible for some children I told them I did not want. So for some years now, some of them been trying to get in contact with me. Access denied. Because I don't really know why you trying to get in contact with me. I done told you I did not want them kids. So don't expect me to be responsible financially, emotional, spiritually, mentally, or physically with some kids I do not want. And I don't give a fuck what nobody think about it. You're not gonna force children up on me. Yeah, we both made the decision to lay down and have intercourse. We both was irresponsible about the decisions we made that night. Yeah, I could have pulled out, but I didn't. And I ain't care to pull out because I'm not the one that gonna have to carry a baby for 9 months. It's the woman. In my opinion, women should be more careful on who they sleep with. Because you're gonna be like, one of my baby mamas trying to find me so I can financially support a kid I done told her or them I did not want. Another thing is, these just jump offs. These the type of women that I ain't even had to do nothing for. The bare minimum, but they gave me access to their body and they think I want to be a father to a child for one of them? Like, I don't even have no type of love for these women. How do they expect me to love these children? Before
Mm.
y'all say, oh, he irresponsible, he a
You want me to
deadbeat,
pause?
he don't take account.
Wanted me to pause?
Oh no, no, no. It was like, because it's you hear these things, but no, let it go because I've got mine after this.
Accountability. Yeah, I do. I just don't give a fuck. You ain't gonna force these children on me when I told you I ain't want them. Yeah, I can offer to pay for abortion, but at what point can I force a woman to go get an abortion? I cannot. A woman say, my body, my choice, but I say, it's my life, my choice. Before y'all try to stitch this shit and be like, black man this, black man that, I don't give a fuck. I really don't.
Oh, okay. And
Boy, oh boy.
Okay, weigh in. So
For
what
me.
what did Trigg say? Let's start with him. What he say?
So he thinks on both sides it's an issue. One, I feel like, well, he felt like, nigga, you just irresponsible with your seed at that point if you getting jump offs pregnant.
He is. He said so.
But also, he made the argument that basically it depends on when the man told them that he didn't want to be a father. Now, for me, because I told him what I told Trig was, I feel like after you see a man who, and it also depends on if he told these women he had kids.
Hmm.
I'm not of mind to be out here having kids with men I'm not in relationships. And I don't think any woman should be bringing children into the world with a man that she has not at least lived with.
Hmm.
Because otherwise, how do you really know this man enough to know that he would be a good father, what he's like in the household? As a man can tell you a lot about him and what it's going to look like with him as a father.
Hmm.
You know my story of having a friend who had a baby off a one night stand. I
Right.
think things like that are absolutely ridiculous. And at the point that a man tells you, like, hey, I don't want to be a father, if you still choose to have a baby after that, I feel like at that point, you should absolve that man of the
Hmm.
responsibility
Hmm.
of that child. Because at that point, you are choosing, knowing that going forward, you are going to be a single parent.
The funny thing is, and this is something that he said that he mentioned. I think it was in an interview with Pearl. They she asked him, "Are you worried about them coming after you for child support?" He said, "If they knew my address and my real name, they could."
Now, how do you have a baby with a man and you don't even know his real name and you've never been to his house?
Yeah, exactly.
Like at that point, do you even care about your vagina, sis? Like you just so you let a man whose name, and also I think lying about your name in general is just weird on a nigga's part in the first place. Like I think that's weird
Uh,
behavior. I get
uh,
why some men do it, but
it's,
no, that's a little weird. Like,
now, if you're out on a mission, yeah, you better lie about your
okay,
name.
okay, if you're on a mission, that's different. But then if you're on a mission, does it then become, then there's the argument of, is it predatory? And I heard
uh,
somebody ask that. Like, if
w-
you're
w-
on a mission to the point that
mhm.
you're out here meeting women and just lying to them just to have sex and not to, like, is that predatory?
No,
I
not really.
personally think it's questionable. I
It's
wouldn't call it predatory.
it's questionable, but the thing is, it's like a mutual agreement because you probably don't know her any real name either.
And
You
then
haven't
I
been
want to
around.
know how he's meeting this one. Like, is it these women that you're meeting online and you're not like having conversations with? Like, I want to talk to one of his baby mamas. Like, I want to.
If you ever lived in a big city, do you know it's not that hard? Okay.
Yeah, I've lived in
Yeah.
Atlanta, so I
Oh yeah,
totally
so
understand
there's a
that.
lot of yeah, there's a lot of randos that you can pick up in a big city, and yeah, you don't know if you don't know her or you don't know her background, and it's just off the cuff. You better lie about your name, you know,
And that's
and hide your wallet.
understandable. Look, I mean, if you have something, I totally, and especially, since we're seeing nowadays in the news that women are setting men up to be murdered by other
Oh yeah,
men for
yeah,
fake jewelry. But
yeah.
to me, being a woman dealing with a man, and again, accidents happen. I get it. I totally, hey,
Do,
sometimes we're a little bit more reckless in life than we should be. But
do,
I do not feel that
uh,
again,
do we really have accidents in this day and age in 21st century, especially when it comes to this?
I mean, I be trying to give people the benefit of the doubt each
Okay,
and every
okay, all
time.
right, okay, all right. Okay, go ahead.
I try to give people the benefit of
Go
the doubt.
ahead, go
But at
ahead.
this ripe old age of 35, if I have a mistake, it's on purpose. Like, that's just what it is.
Uh,
But I feel just on his end,
Mhm.
I understand where he's coming from. Hey, look, Shotty, if I told you I ain't want to have this baby, we not having this baby. Like, and if you have that baby is on you. I don't
It
understand women who choose to have babies with men who tell them that they don't want to have kids. But I grew up in a two-parent household,
Mhm.
um, with a patriarch for a father.
Mhm.
So, and I'm not saying I had the most perfect childhood. Like, I'm not saying that I was the most perfect child or that my household was the most perfect household at that.
Mhm.
But I knew better than to bring home a baby, let alone tell
Ah.
my daddy that I was bringing home a baby by a man whose name I did
Ah.
not know and an address that I did not have to put in
See,
on child support for.
and yeah, yeah, especially if it's a man. But I'm sure you've either heard or seen these baby showers for women that are having babies out of wedlock.
Yeah, but I was never allowed to go to none of those.
Exactly. Good thing. Smart. Your parents are smart because you shouldn't, because if you ever been to one, it almost looks like a bridal shower. There's a big party and there's a big reveal, and she gets all these gifts and all this attention, and and women want that. They want the attention. They want the shower, and they want that stuff. They want the big party. It's almost like getting married, and so it would. So every woman there wants to be next in line. I want a party just like that.
Yeah, that's never been exciting for me. I just, I don't know. Like, because even when I talk, like, have these discussions
Mm-hmm.
with women, it always comes back to, well, if he didn't want to have a baby, he shouldn't have nutted in me. But in my opinion, I'm like, girl, you don't want to gotta care. Like, you don't want to gotta do. You don't even like kids.
Where does it come from, though? All of a sudden you deflect blame to him, especially if and they said, and if they talk to the guy, they say, "You know how sex works." Says, "Yeah, we both do." So how does it absolve you? And why did you? I always ask a woman. I said, "When do you become a mother?" I said, "When I get pregnant." Nope, you do not. When you become a mother, it's when you give birth. Okay, and you have 40 weeks to decide. So in between 0 and 40 weeks, what made you decide that you wanted to be a mother? You have to.
Right.
You all the pain, you got bloated feet. You throwing up. Your body aches. For 40 weeks. Why are you going through that? Unless you want to
You
be a
really
mother.
don't know. Like, I honestly, and I'll tell anybody this. I didn't know I wanted to be a mother till I held Ava in my hand. Like, I was scared. Um, for my own reasons, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the things that I had put myself through growing up and things like that. So I was
Mm-hmm.
afraid, but it was just something that clicked with me the moment she got in my arms because I ended
Okay.
up having to have an emergency C-section, and it did not hit me until like she was in my arms. I'm
No.
like, oh shit, I gotta take this thing home.
So it wasn't real until you actually had it. As long as she
Like
was
I
inside
felt
you.
her,
Yeah.
like I loved her,
Mm-hmm.
but I was not her mother until
Mm.
like we made that connection. Because I know women who have had kids and never made that connection with their kids.
Okay.
So I understand that you become a mother when you give birth, but
Mm-hmm.
some women never get the mom like some women never like get that like that mother connection, and they
Mm-hmm.
have kids with men, and I feel like that plays a part in it.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is, you got pregnant, and what point did you decide you're gonna carry this baby to term?
For me, it was when I heard her heartbeat. Me,
Okay.
because it's not like so. I'm gonna just be very honest. Tamarius was not excited when we found out. Like T was not excited in the least. Like when he first found out. Like when we first found out that
Mm-hmm.
like we were pregnant. And in true unfair women fashion at the time, like I threw a fit. um,
Okay.
I did. I threw a fit. But I had also said that okay, if he's serious, I'm gonna give it like a week. And if he's serious and he really don't want to have his baby, I'm just gonna tell my daddy, and we just gonna do, we'll handle it. But he came around like it had to be almost 4, and he can correct me because he's in the chat if I'm wrong. Almost 4 or 5 days later,
Okay.
and he, we had the discussion because we had been together though, like we'd been together a
Yeah.
year and
Well,
change.
you had been together, so that's
Yeah,
it's different.
we'd
That's a
been
little
together a
different.
year and change. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, after we really had that conversation,
Mm-hmm.
I decided, okay, like we decided, like, even if we never got married, we were gonna be together for 18 years to raise a child together for 18 years.
Okay.
And that was the agreement. And that's what made me comfortable enough to be like, okay.
Okay. Toya, if you want to come up, I emailed you the link. So if you want to come up, here's something. Here's another one that on this same thing. He stirred up a lot of stuff. So here's another one. This is from unsolicited security boss. If you like what you hear, please go support her channel. Anybody we play, I say go support them. Um, so we're going to play her, and we'll comment on it.
Said to having a baby.
When he plants his seed in someone's vagina.
How does he know when that happens?
I'm sure it feels pretty good when it happens. I think y'all know.
So you telling me that I can for sure I can make a baby whenever I want.
I'm telling you that we all understand what the reproductive process is. And as a man, if you enter into a vagina with no condom and you decide to ejaculate there is a chance that a baby might come out of that. And men know that.
Okay, there is a chance and men know that. So let me ask you that. So that means that woman knows that too, right?
They do.
So that means a woman knows at any time she has sex, that means baby, correct?
It's a possibility if she's having unprotected sex. Yeah.
So it's on her to protect herself, right? Ain't got nothing to do with the man then. The power is really on her because at the end of the day, it's her power. Like you said, I can replay it. A woman has more power and it is what it is. Hello, Miss Security Boss.
Hello, Aaron and Miss Venus. How y'all doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about you all?
Doing good.
Struggling coming
to windmilling for my life. Okay.
Oh my. This has been a good conversation. But Aaron, I want to go back. Well, am I interrupting? Did I come in at a bad time?
No. You good. You good.
I want to go back just a little bit, Aaron, because that question you had about can men give consent? This is something that I don't totally agree with everyone on. I know there are some people who agree with me, but there are others that are like,
They never do. It's always a gray area.
Now, it all depends for me, if a man can give consent as to what question are you asking? Okay, both are irresponsible. The woman is more irresponsible if she has a child that she did not want because of so many different types of birth control. I totally agree. But a man gives consent when he actually goes over to her house because he never had to go. So if he's like the one that doesn't want a child, doesn't want to be a part of the system, doesn't want child support, he never has to visit that young lady. Because see, where we mess up is, in my opinion, is men are always giving away their power to women and expecting them to treat them well with it. I expect you not to take me to child support because you love me or you like me. She said she didn't want one. And then every time the men are being tricked. So say the man doesn't give up his consent, or does he have consent? He absolutely does. He does not have to indulge at all.
Thank you.
Can he rescind consent?
Yeah, he can. He can, but at that point in time, it depends on what question you're asking. If we're talking about who's more sexually irresponsible, it's definitely on the woman. I still think having the child is on the woman. But if a man is truly not wanting to have a child, doesn't want to be a daddy, and doesn't want to be a part of the system and all those things, he has to think about that. He cannot give his power away to a young woman with the promise of her being on her birth control pill and taking them responsibly every day.
I think any woman that has sex wants a child.
Yeah.
Because
and I agree. In other words, the way they're talking, you have to assume that any woman that has sex with you is a potential baby mama. She wants to have a kid. If we're going to carry to the logical conclusion, which she's going to disagree with.
Absolutely. By that logic, everything he's saying is absolutely correct. Like, every time I've had sex, I wanted to have a kid. By her logic.
But
yeah. Of course, it's not going to go like that when he flips it.
Of course not.
Because I mean,
See, now she's
that's just the
laughing.
truthful answer, right? Because what I hear is once you put it in, that's the consent. Even if I can tell you what I can play the trump card and say I'm not having this, you gave me the consent from the beginning. So what I'm saying is any woman that opened her legs, they're trying to have a child. There is no accident, just like a man must know anytime you're going, they must know that. It has to be consistent, right? So if that's the case, we know you're going to agree with SB, but that's fine. We're gonna balance that too as well. I'm
But I
saying
agree
this.
with you, though. I agree with you because if
Oh no,
that's the case,
and I'm in
Okay, I don't
agreement
agree
with
with
you.
that last part. Here's why.
Okay, what last part you talking about?
Um, it's a little bit different for women. When you say the minute she opens her legs, she's agreeing to a child because again, she is the one who gets to decide whether a child even makes it. You
hmm
understand? So it is a little bit different to say that about a woman. What I'm saying is this, once you impregnate her, she still has the right to say, "Hey, I want a child," or B, A, I want a child, or B, no, I don't. But once you get her pregnant, you don't have any option. You understand?
Actually, you're wrong, and this is what
No.
you can
no,
have the
this.
option that the young man is taking. He said he's not
Thank
doing it.
you. This is see.
We can't make a person do anything. He could suffer
Thank
his
you.
consequences, but you still can't make him do anything.
Wait, I didn't say anything about okay. He said, let me back up because I'm getting confused. He
Yeah,
said
and
that
you're
the
not
minute
confused,
a
lady.
woman opens her leg, so I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. I'm just talking about the act and what happens. He
Right.
said the minute a woman opens her leg, she's consenting to having a baby. Just as we say the minute a man,
Correct.
ejaculates, he's consenting. And so
Of course, she's going to disagree. In other words, he's saying, go by your logic that she agreed with. As soon as a man puts his penis inside a woman, he's consenting to have a baby. So by that logic, as soon as she accepts him inside her, she's also consenting to have a baby. But now she can rescind the consent by a plan B, abortion, what have you. But the thing is, if you're gonna have a standard and have that logic, you can't have this. Okay, consent for you, but not consent for me. It's a little bit different. No, it's not different.
what
Anyway,
I'm saying is that's not exactly true because once the man, plants his seed there, he's giving up all control. But unfortunately for you guys, when the woman has the seed and plants in her, she still has an option to decide, hey, I don't want this kid.
It's not unfortunate. And see what you are learning is that I'm going to take us on next level thinking here, right? It's not unfortunate for men because if a man wants to take care of a child, he's going to do it. But if he don't want to, it's unfortunate for you. And that's what you're starting to learn. And this is what we're trying to tell you. This guy is somewhat at a national hero at this point.
all right. uh, Concrete actually put the link. Um, I had to put the link to the stream. I emailed it to you to the breakdown. So if you want to come up, it's there. So
Wow.
see, the thing is, these people should argue on the Supreme Court.
Because they going to
Quite
justify anything.
Yeah, justify anything. Well, no, you gave consent when you decided to, like, even come over to her house. Okay, you gave consent to have a baby. If you lay down with a man gives consent to have a baby. But no, it's a little different when it's a woman. Wait a minute, how is it different?
But here's my thing. As
Go ahead.
women, we know when we're ovulating. And if you don't know as a woman when you're ovulating, I'm going to need you to get the Flow app or some app to where you know. Because there are other ways. Because even if you want to use this whole like, oh, it's his fault. Because, girl, you know when you're ovulating. Stop. Like this whole idea of like, why are you not being responsible with your vagina, period?
Hmm.
Like, and even myself, like, I say this as a woman who, like, honestly should have been more responsible with my vagina in my life. Like, I do not negate that there are things that I had to learn by trial and error.
Hmm.
However, I hate that when presented with the same logic that we just gave somebody, we tend to have a hard time just accepting that, well, you know what, by that logic, you have a point, and just admitting that.
Like I said, coming from having, I think I had my first pregnancy scare when I was like 19. Um, and having kids, having daughters. Okay, and so when a woman comes to me about this, don't lie. I know I raised daughters. I know what you're told. I know what you're told not only by me but also by the women folk. Okay, stop lying. Why you want to have this baby? I mean, it used to be, when I was coming up, you had to go through jump over all kind of hoops to get condoms, all kind of hoops for a girl to get birth control pills. All you had to go through all those kind of hoops. A 13-year-old can actually walk in uh, without her parents and get birth control. You got 30 different brands of birth control, and any girl that's ovulating can actually walk in to a doctor without the parents' consent and get birth control pills if she so desires. If she wants to be sexually active, she's got condoms. She got all these mannerisms. Because the first half of my 20s, I didn't have kids because all the women were either stayed on the pill, they had the IUD, they had some kind of barrier method, right? None of them got pregnant. Okay, zero got pregnant. That didn't start happening until my till I get closer to my 30s. And every single time, you know, it's like I'm gonna skip pills. I'm gonna do that. I've had women like baby mama. She lied to me. Okay, I saw the pills. Okay, went down here with them, saw the pills. And just oops, one day I'm just not going to take them anymore. But I'm not going to tell you. So I know. So I know the game. So why you want to have this baby?
And that's a fair question. Most at this point, I feel like most women want to have these babies because it's a way out of whatever the situation that they are
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
At that point, like honestly, I've watched it happen.
yeah.
Like I've watched women have babies by
Mhm.
men thinking that this is an easy way to start getting a Section 8 apartment.
Yep,
This is an easy way
yep.
to get food stamps. It is a way out of whatever situation
E-
I
e-
am in. And
Easiest way to
that's
get
the truth.
in black families, the easy way to get help from your relatives. Because if you get pregnant and start having a baby, then the woman folks will actually start pushing resources towards you because of the baby. And every woman knows it. If you want help from your family, if your family can't stand you, okay, and you like the black sheep, all you got to do is get pregnant. All of a sudden, well, I don't like her because she's this, she's that, but she got this baby, so we got to help her. And I've heard that from my own relatives. Well, what we gonna do because she pregnant? She gonna have this baby. We got to think about that little life. But that's black women, and when they're raised to think that way. So I've seen it. I've actually seen it. Um, so it's trying to. It's not even figuring out, but at this point, it's nothing logical about it. Even though we try to make logic out of it, there's nothing logical about it. It's actually pretty simple, okay? And they've laid it out pretty simple. The one thing I say about white folks is they've laid it out pretty simple. They give you Plan B, which they're trying to outlaw. They give you abortion. They give you birth control. They give you everything not to bring a child that you don't want into this world. And and I don't know how many times you had sex education. This was in the 60s and 70s, right? I had it twice. Once when you reach puberty in your elementary school, and then once I think when you're like 16. Okay, you have it again, and they go through this whole thing. Once it's just a little seminar, a little class, and when you get to high school, it's a whole class about sex education. A whole semester about sex education. Everybody knows. So I'm just wondering, it's like, you know, we probably need to have a psychiatrist just sit down and figure this out. You know, what is it? Is it a drive? Is it a push? What's the psychology? Because I tell guys, I tell young guys, hey man, I don't care what she says, don't trust her. I don't care what she says. Don't trust her. If you don't want to have a baby, you got to use a condom or you got to take care of it because you can't, like she said, you cannot put your power in her hands. You can't trust her. You have to assume that she wants to have a baby by you if she's having sex with you. Got to assume that.
I honestly feel the same way. Like I concur. Like I feel, especially after a certain time, because it's not like we as women can really separate. Well, most women cannot separate emotion from sex. So once you're consistently having sex with a man, to
Hmm.
you're emotionally attached to that man. And what do women do when we get emotionally attached?
You want to have his baby.
We want to have kids. I'm gonna tell you right now. I told Tamaria she either gonna give me a baby or you gonna give me a puppy. Clearly, I
I,
got the baby.
I've never heard that one before.
Oh yeah, look, I did, because that's his excuse every time. Well, you said either give you a baby or give you a puppy. Well, you could have gave me the puppy. Like you didn't have to give me the. You could have gave me the. And
he,
that is always. And I
he
know
want
people think it's crazy, but that is the banter that goes back and forth in our
you
house when
know
our child does something.
he wanted to have a baby by you.
You know, I was the safest. Look, if if he could have ever had an amazing woman to carry his child, and
Hmm.
look, I lost 150 pounds for that man. He better love me for the rest of my life. I mean, I did it for myself too. Don't get me wrong. Like, I definitely did it for myself, but I also very much did it for my
Hmm.
husband and for my marriage and just to be a better person all around. And it's
Hmm.
clearly worked out for me. So,
Yeah, yeah. It'd be, I mean, you two fit. You know, when you see a couple say, you hear them talk. Yeah, y'all need to be together.
he is the
I heard
yin
you
to
guys.
my
I said,
yang.
yeah, basically, yeah, y'all need to be together. Okay, yeah, you need to stay with her.
And so it worked out. Like, thankfully it worked out, but at the point that, and I have to hold us as Black women accountable, because
Hmm.
even though, yes, there are unicorns out there like myself, like Toya, like women who embrace not only being women but holding other women accountable to being better women,
Hmm.
I really dislike this idea that we are just so comfortable using children as a way out and
Hmm.
then shitting on men who get no
Oh,
help
oh
after
yeah,
having children.
yeah,
Like, for having to use them, because in essence we use men to have babies to get out.
yeah.
We're the users. We're the abusers. We're quite frankly the narcissists, for that reason, because you have to know, like, one, you, and it's not that we have to manipulate men into having sex. Like, men are willing to have sex with you, but to then have this baby and put that baby on that man, because at the point that you have sex with a man that you know have 3 kids by
Hmm.
3 women before you, sis,
Hmm.
that's a choice.
Yeah. And you don't say you didn't stop having sex. The thing is, you could get pregnant. You could get pregnant every year, pretty much. You know.
Absolutely.
So in other words, okay, if you're getting pregnant every year, then okay, you're reckless. Okay, anybody can get you pregnant. You're still having sex. Why you pick this guy to have a baby by?
Right, because let's just be honest,
Hmm.
it's not like you can't, it's not like we don't choose the men that we have like,
Yeah, you do.
it's beyond me that, like, I see women get on the internet and talk so much shit about their baby's fathers, like, you didn't choose this man. Like, girl,
Hmm.
you look like the idiot. And it's funny because even with my other friends, like, I have single mom friends who are amazing single mom friends. Like,
Hmm.
they're amazing women who go above and beyond for their children and make sure that their children, now granted, they want husbands, they want companions, they just a little rough around the edges and gotta, they gotta
No,
figure it out.
no. They're insufferable. Okay, they're not rough around this. They're insufferable. That's like when they can't get married. They're
Well, yeah,
insufferable.
and some of them honestly just think that they're better off alone, but I feel like at
Yeah,
this
they
point they
are.
know they're better off alone
Yeah,
because they don't really like people.
yeah, they don't. They're insufferable.
But they're
Okay.
very honest about that.
Yeah, but they
And
love
to
their children.
me, they very much love their children.
Hmm.
My issue be the ones that have these kids and don't love their kids and literally just use their kids to make money.
Hmm. Yeah, to get out of the situation that they're in because the system actually supports that. So yeah.
Because to me, why are we so comfortable? And my thing is, why are we so comfortable creating these single parent homes where, even when if I feel like if you're not a mom who can sit at home with your child for the first 5 years and
Hmm.
pour into them in those first 5 years and do a work from home job as a single mom, like, you leave in the world to raise your child at that point, because you're working 8 hours a day. By the time you
Hmm.
get home, you don't really have the time. We're not building villages like we used to. I was raised by a village. The woman I came home to bury this weekend was part of my village. She was literally like my second mom.
Okay.
Like when I was out in the world doing stupid shit, she
Hmm.
always came and got me. She always held me accountable. She always loved me. She told me Tamarius was gonna like T was gonna be my husband before
Yeah.
like I knew he was gonna be my husband.
Yeah. Well, the family can always see it before you can.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
she's been part of my village. Like my parents made sure
Hmm.
that I had a village of other married couples, of other kids who were growing up with black moms and black dads. I had a very good village. My village is the reason I'm alive today. But I don't have that village for Ava with a lot of my friends because a lot of my friends are not married.
Uh.
And then a lot of women who are married with children either A, don't really like their children,
Hmm.
or B, don't really want to be married.
Uh, yeah. Well, yeah. I think. Well, it's always a good idea at the time, right? You think you can get something that you don't. Getting married and being married are two different things. You know, being having a baby or getting pregnant, having a baby, and actually taking care of a child are two different things. My youngest daughter is struggling with that right now. It was a good idea to get pregnant. It's a good idea of having a baby. Okay, once the baby gets out, like what do you do with it? Okay, and when it's inside you, it eats when you eat, goes to the bathroom when you go to the bathroom. You don't have to babysit it because it's part of you. What happens when it's not part of you? And it's a separate person, and then that's when the real work starts. When it decides it wants to feed in the middle of the night and you're sleepy, or you have to, it has to be taken care of by somebody. And do you have to work? Okay. Do you have to go someplace else? Do you have people to help you with the baby when you're feeling tired? Because at that point, no, you know, the baby responds to what he responds to, and that's when the work really begins. That's why you're meant to have a partner. Even I think the Chihuahua tribe I think their society goes back like 150,000 years. They they have they have like a nuclear family where the husband and wife get married and have kids. Okay, they put people together to raise children. Okay, the baby cannot be raised by one parent, so they put the parents together, and that's how far it goes back. Marriage goes back way back for that reason.
Because I kid you not, we were all joking this weekend after the funeral. Like at this point,
Hmm.
we're gonna have to arrange marriage these kids because it's weird out here.
It should be, but this, because I had that talk with Dr. Thunder, and he said what's the best option out of this mess? I said basically, young people were never supposed to pick their mates because they don't know enough. And basically, if you have to pick your mate, you don't know enough till you get into your 30s. That's how come the age of marriage has moved up so far. Is because now number one, you're not trained in gender roles, and number two, you're not trained how to pick a mate. Okay, because you don't even know who you are. How you gonna pick a mate if you don't know who you are? That's compatible for you. That's how come arranged marriages and gender roles actually work so well. They work for like hundreds of thousands of years. Why do you think that is? It's because you if it's easier to train a person for a role, you know, and them, from the time they're a child and they fit into a role, and then find that person that's compatible with that person to put into marriage. The arranged marriages. You know what the divorce rate for arranged marriages is?
Mm, no, but I would hope it's low.
3%.
Oh yeah, that's low. Look, that
Three
is low.
3%. So two people that really didn't pick each other, okay, compared to a system to where they do pick each other, especially in the black community. You know what the black community's divorce rate is? Damn near 80%, and the average marriage lasts 5 years. And we're picking people that we like, supposedly.
Mm,
But things we're in a liberal country where people get to pick, and guess what? People pick badly.
absolutely. Because I'll tell anybody like my judgment was terrible. Like, but but I knew to an extent. Like, if I couldn't take them home to my dad, I ain't had no business messing with them in the first place. And T was the first guy that I brought. home to my dad. Mind you, we met when we were 29.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he was the first guy that I brought home, like really
Uh-huh.
brought home and told my dad, like, hey dad, I think I really love this one. Like I know I've said that before, but like this time, like, and I actually like started naming off things that he does for me and
Mm-hmm.
did for me. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at my dad and I'm looking at my list and I'm like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. In other words, anybody, you'll learn this, okay? Because she's only 3. You'll learn this, man. Uh, that when my daughters talk about a man, okay, or like when my daughter had her child, right, and I never met the guy until the baby shower, and I just looked at her, and she looked at me. I said, if you were proud of this guy, you'd have brought him home. You'd have had me meet him, like her boyfriend from high school. Okay, her boyfriend from high school. We've gone on trips together. Now, when they had a family reunion because my son couldn't go, we just gave him the ticket. He never. The whole family loves this guy, but that's the one she brought around. All the other ones she didn't. That's why I know. I know. Why I always ask women, I always ask anybody, male or female, right? Okay, how do you know that you're the one? How do you know that you're compatible? I said, I tell I tell I tell the guy, if she introduces you to two things, introduces first to her 5 closest friends, which is which cousin T Talk calls her Fay group. I'm giving you guys put your cash up app up Ash. I said because I'm giving them game. This is part of this is part of my book. Okay, this is game. So put your cash app up. Let them pay for it. This is game, right? I said I just did 2 consultations over the over the weekend with 2 guys, right? And I said when they asked me about a woman, I said okay. I said how serious do you think she is? Well, I don't know. I said how long you been knowing? I said oh about 10 years. I said okay. Have you met her best friends? Her 5 best friends? Have you gone through the walk? The look see? He said no. Okay. 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 Then has she introduced you? Have you had a sit down with her parents? No. You're not that guy. You're a concubine. She's not proud of you. You're not the one. Okay. If she picks you, then you're a secondary choice. You're not her first choice because
Mm.
because the first thing any woman that knows that guy is up to snuff. Because my daughters knew exactly, what her family expects out of the guy that she's gonna bring home. Exactly. You train from time that you're a little girl because you watch, you hear, and women talk. I know women.
Hmm.
I've been heard women talk. They talk about their experiences. They talk about their ex-husbands, their boyfriends. Talk about all that stuff. You know exactly what kind of guy to bring home that will be approved of. You know that before you even walk in through that door. So tell him. So if you didn't bring him home, and especially your girlfriends will the first one will check him out and either give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And so if you get with him, you're gonna have help from them girls for the rest of your life. You marry him, and the first thing when you walk in, you be playing cards. You still married to that nigga? Girl, I told you you shouldn't have married his ass. Don't come telling me about no goddamn problems from him. I told you you shouldn't have married him in the first place. Now, deal me in. Cut the cards. You're gonna hear that for the rest of your life. You'll hear that as long as you're with him. You're gonna hear that. That's how come you get the thumbs up and the thumbs down. That's how you have the walkthrough. Okay. Same thing with your parents. Exact same thing. If you can marry him if you want to, but you're always gonna hear it. I told you not to marry that boy. So anytime I tell guys, I tell guys the first thing if she introduces you to her first her fake group, her female hierarchy group, which are 5 best friends, her ride or dies, and then her parents. Goes to the girlfriends first, and then her parents. I can't tell you. I've had all my major uh, relationships with women. All went through the same thing. First thing they introduced me to the girlfriends. The girlfriends give me a thumb up, a thumbs down. If I pass that test, mama's next. Mom and daddy are next every single time. That's how come I know they know. So that's how come I don't take that crap from women. You knew who he was when you met him. You know
Mm.
exactly what kind of guy you should be with and what you shouldn't be with. The thing is, what I need to know is why you picked him. What is it about him that you want that's inside you that you picked this guy and had a baby by him? That's what I want to know. Well, well, it's I don't want to hear that. You carried that baby 40 weeks. Why'd you have his baby? That's what I need to know.
What did you see in these 40 weeks that made you be like, this is gonna be great?
This is gonna be great, or I can change him, or there's something there that I can mold with him. No, I want to hear it. That's like Kevin. Like say, I always say Kevin's a nice guy. I'm not. I'm not the nice guy because I'm not gonna let you lie to me. And so in my platform, first thing I tell the women, I say, I don't care what you say, just don't lie. Tell me the truth.
Absolutely.
Tell me the truth. And then we can get to the bottom of it. No matter what I tell them, that same thing. A guy that has a crazy girlfriend is knocking out his windows. Okay, why you pick her? When did you know that she was nuts? And why did you stay? Because you keep. How long you been messing? Oh, about 5 years. So you know that she's nuts. So why you pick her? What is it she got that you can't do without? I think. I
That's
think
true
we.
though.
Yeah. I think Friday. I think we did a woman's after show, right? And the guy came up and he started talking about his getting ready to retire from the service. He talked about his ex-wife and how ratchet she was. I said okay. I said all right. Um, when did you know she was ratchet? Third date. And okay. So what made you know she was ratchet? She told me she was a hoe. I said okay. And you married her. Why'd you marry her? And then complain about how ratchet she is.
Oh wow.
What in you? The thing is, what in you would accept a woman like that? I can understand why you have sex with her, but why would you take her in and marry and have a kid by her? What in you? What in you will accept a woman like that? Because I trust and believe I wouldn't. Chick's ratchet. She says she's a hoe. Like I said, I'm like the dude in the car. You're not even gonna know my real name.
That makes sense. Yeah, you're just supposed to have sex with the
You're
ratchet
supposed to have
shit
sex.
safely. Like,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
preferably.
Like and you're 5 years later walking down the street. Didn't I have sex with you? Nope. Don't know who you are.
Look.
There she is.
Good evening.
That's one of my alumni.
Good evening.
How's it going?
And see Rose, and see Concrete knows I will not let you lie.
Oh,
At all.
don't I
You do,
know it?
you do. You know, I don't give my daughters any breaks. My daughter, when my daughter came in, she's pregnant, and everybody's trying to have this conversation. You walk in and stuff like that, and her mama looked at me like I'm gonna cuss her out and throw chairs, stuff like that. I said, "How old are you?" She said, 23. What am I gonna say to a grown woman about why she's pregnant?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
your daddy. What am I gonna say to you? Except if are you gonna have it? Yeah. Well, you know what you have to do? Take care of it. Well, what about him? I know I raised you. I didn't raise him. I raised you. His mom and his daddy have to talk to him. I'm talking to you because you know better. Now
yeah.
let's go from there. And she'll complain every now and then, but she when it comes to him, she'll start fussing and she'll go whoop. She'll shut up. It's okay. I want to hear it. I know I raised you. Now, if you got a fuss about him, go talk to his mama and
Mm.
his daddy about him. Okay, don't talk to me about him. You go talk to his parents about how they raised him. I know I raised you, and I told you to know better because you're supposed to be married, aren't you? Yep. Why'd you do it this way? Put
Hard
her head
head.
down. It's fine. We all got hard heads. We all go left, right? It's
Yes, that's
every
true.
child. Every child. I'll tell two, two people. Two kind of people are going to go left at some point. I always tell guys this at some point. Women and children are going to go left at some point. Okay. Hopefully they don't go too far left, but they're going to go left at some point. That's how come. Unless it gets real serious, they don't. If they going if they run bullshit, they run bullshit through the women folk first because the women folk will actually listen to it. I don't listen to it. Let's cut through that. Why'd you do it? Let's start there. Well, same thing with my son. Why'd you do it? Why'd you get her pregnant? You know better. I bought you condoms at 14. Why you get her pregnant? And I told first thing I told him, I said, he's 14, he's getting ready to start have sex. Here's a box of condoms. I said, if you wear them, you don't take it off, you'll never get in trouble. As soon as you take it off, you're gonna know the difference. That's what trouble's gonna start. Because there is a difference. If you never taste naked vagina, or never had naked vagina, ain't no problem. As soon as you feel like how naked vagina feels, okay, there's gonna be an issue. Take it from one that knows, okay? Anyway, weigh in, jump in, save me. Y'all sound like my daughters. Everybody quiet. I
You
don't want to
know,
say nothing.
you know,
You know,
once you
hey,
start
look,
talking,
when men of authority speak, you just shut up.
right? It's like,
I'm not gonna
you don't
back
want to
in
get
on.
spanked.
Yeah, back at you.
Hmm.
I- I- Speak facts to me. Don't give me no excuses. Okay, you made a decision. I told her. I said we and her mama. I said, okay, you know what? There's L's I'm gonna have to take because me and your mama can't get along. I'm willing to take those L's. So whatever it is, you're gonna say, hey, daddy, you wasn't around, blah blah blah. You believe this? You should have married this. My grandson just asked me, how come he calls her TT, his grandma TT. How come you married TT? I just looked at him. I said, how old are you? He said 10. When you get 18, I'll answer any question you want to know. But guess what? Your mama and your uncles and your aunties, they didn't want to know because they could have asked those questions. Said, are you sure you want to know? And they go, nope, I'm good.
They probably figured it out for themselves by that point too.
Dude, if you have kids and you go through relationships, you have figured it out.
Yeah,
It's not as if you do it right, it's not that bad. If you do it wrong, that's when the complications start.
yeah, absolutely.
Now, like Francis Cress Wilson said, when adults play with sex, the joke is on the children. She's right.
That's so true and so unfortunate all at the same time.
Hmm.
And that's more prevalent now than ever with the rate of kids who are not reading at a grade level, like being 66% in this country. And that's just not Black kids, that's kids in general.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But also the rate of single parent homes is where it's at. Like, to sit here and tell me that does not correlate is asinine. Like, our children are suffering being in these homes where they are not being taught, because yes, granted, the school is supposed to help, but we went through COVID. I just talked to a teacher friend of mine this weekend,
Hmm.
and she was saying, she was like, no, because these kids are literally 2 years behind.
Yeah, they are.
COVID set these kids two kids back 2 years,
Yeah.
because she said what you started to realize was the kids who had parents at home,
Hmm.
like one that maybe had to leave out of the house but still had someone there helping them go over their work, have
Hmm.
all fared better
Yeah.
than the children who were left at home by themselves because their one parent, still had to be out of the house to go to work doing
Hmm.
COVID.
Yeah. 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 You can tell. Children. Well, number one, people are not meant to learn that way, and number
Hmm.
two, they haven't been socialized to learn that way. If you're going to have children learn through AIs and computers and stuff like that, they have to be trained from the ground up to actually learn like that. Okay,
Right.
and they haven't been. So they actually throw them into. Most teachers
Hmm.
can't teach like that anyway. I had to
Yeah.
help my grandson. All my grandson's teachers actually formulate their lesson plans. Actually work with the format.
It took over a year for them to work out those kinks. And literally, like,
Mhm.
I know so many teachers, and they're talking about like the educational crises that
Mhm.
our educational system is in. Like, literally, I mean, on so many different fronts. First of
Mhm.
all, the teacher shortage.
Mhm.
Second of all, of course, the students are several years behind, but
Mhm.
students are also getting passed, or even prior to that,
Yeah.
students are, because of the No Child Left Behind, students are getting passed through and they're
Mhm.
in seventh and eighth grade before someone recognizes that they can't even read, and you
Mhm.
don't have the capacity to try to teach a child to read when you're supposed to be teaching them eighth grade science. Like
Right.
it's literally insane what our educational system has become. And it's kind of like it needs a total overhaul. Like, where do you even start?
Yeah, you basically have to start with the whole society as a whole. Okay, how you formulate a whole society. Um, this society is way too complex to have two parents working. Somebody's got to be at home.
So even
Th-
in that
yeah.
situation,
hmm
BGS, are the parents at fault for not noticing that, like for
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Ultimately, your child's education is on you.
that's what I was going to ask, because I've seen that argument be made. A lot of people are saying, no, the school system is at fault.
No.
And some people feel that the parents are at fault.
Okay. When that kid it can't read and this kid is 18, 19 years old and has been uh, um, moved out of the system, who catches the backlash? Is it the school system or you?
You,
Yeah. Is the school system actually going to help take care of that kid because they failed, or is it you?
you, of course. Yeah,
Yeah. So ultimately, the education of your child is yours.
I
Uh,
agree.
Asians don't play that. Okay.
I've
No.
always said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Asians don't play that. No. The education of my child is me. Okay.
Hmm.
It's on me. As black folks, we kind of like um, we've been socialized to actually leave that up to the school, leave it up to the
Yeah.
white folks to actually do it.
You're right. And I feel like you want to pass the buck, and you literally want to make that someone else's problem. And
Yeah.
also, in addition to that, like we're not supplementing their education. Most black parents aren't supplementing their children's education. We leave
Mm.
it up to the school system 100%.
Yep.
And it's crazy because all grades are online. You can see what your child is doing, if your child is progressing. And how are you not actively involved to see that your child can't read? Like by
Mm.
seventh and eighth grade, you haven't noticed that your child can't read. That's concerning.
They notice. Anybody that can read notice when somebody can't read. Okay, it's impossible not to. The thing is, what do you do about it? I have this with my middle grandson. Same thing. I'm on my he can read, but think he's behind. I'm on my son's ass. He said, if you're not going to teach him, bring him to my house. But he can't fall behind. Okay, just because you're lazy. Now,
That's the
um,
thing. Get
mhm,
resources.
they got resources. Okay, I mean, how hard is it? You live 10 minutes away. All you got to do is drop him off. I can help him with his homework and tutor him. Because the grandson I do have that I tutor every day. You know, um, he's in a private school. He does very well. He's always done very well. You know, so it's not that hard. All you got to do is drop him off. Reading is easy. All you got to do is work with him. 30 minutes a day.
I agree. The interesting thing is my husband, he has his granddaughter. She lives in New Jersey and we're in
hmm
Georgia. She
hmm
calls him and reads to him several nights a week. She
hmm
reads to him over the phone, and
Yeah.
he literally corrects her. No, slow down. No,
hmm
enunciate your word. Like
hmm
literally, she reads to her granddad and she's 5. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. You just have to make the time for it. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. Like I said, it's not like you spending like 6, 7 hours trying to teach a kid to read. It's 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on you're watching TV or you're on the smartphone or you're looking at the tablet. For more time than that,
Hmm. I
you can
agree.
sit them down. You can sit them down and actually teach them. It's not that. If you can read, that you can teach your kid to read. It's not that hard.
I mean, I'm teaching Ava. I'm a stay at home mom, so
Mhm.
we're at the point, it's sight word time. And she's starting to recognize words, she's starting to spell words. Honestly, I'm realizing I'd have never had the patience to do any of this if I had stayed at my full time job.
It's tough. I mean, you have to make time. A buddy of mine, right? He got custody of his 4 sons, right? And he's working, 10, 11 hours. He made time. They all went to school. I think a couple of them are in their master's programs, but things he made time. If you can't sit still for 30 minutes, even if you're falling asleep while the kid is reading, okay, you can nod off while the kid is reading. Thing is, you have to make the effort.
I agree. And the thing is, like, even myself, we make
Hmm.
time for TikTok, we make time for
Yes.
YouTube, we make time for everything else. Like 30 minutes a night. I'm gonna tell you something. My kids, both of my kids are young adults. My during the summers, my kids had to do book reports. We went to the library so frequently, up until my kids was like 16
Hmm.
years old. We went
Hmm.
to the library. I challenged my kids. I rewarded my kids by how many books they could read in a summer. Like literally, I get what for punishments. I made my kids do book reports on current
I did
events.
too.
It is
I did
not
too.
that difficult.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. When they for punishment, I put them like with I had my kids and I had my nephew and my niece, and they get to cutting up and they want to fight each other. So put them in separate corners. Get a book, sit down and read.
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize how valuable that was until my nephew came back from Texas, right? And he had his son, and his son cut up, and he did the exact same thing. Here's a book. Give me 20 minutes.
Yep.
I said, but you hated that when I did it to you. He said, yeah, but it worked.
Absolutely. Yeah. We just we make excuses for we're a culture of of excuse makers, and that's what it is. And we make time for what's important to us. If that's doing our hair, going out, part whatever it is, we make
Hmm.
time for what's important. And clearly just education isn't a top priority, and that's just a fact.
Especially boys. And then you complain that you can't find men on your level. It's like, okay, you didn't think about that when you had only 15% of boys who could read at grade level, the eighth grade, that 10 years later, you're not going to find, not going to have young men for your daughters to marry.
Yeah.
And nobody puts these two things together. And we're not talking about just people that are, uh, working class people. Talk about elites that cannot put these two things together.
Wow.
And one as a community, when do we start, you know, when do we start solving problems instead of pointing fingers
Mm, that part.
and dodging blame? Okay, no, you have the children. Okay, if you need help, raise raise your hand, raise the flag, so we come help you. But the thing is, you got to be involved. Can't say, okay, I raised the flag, now do something. No, you got to get involved with us.
That, and I agree with that, because in all reality, when I was growing up, and although I lived in a smaller town, but
Hmm.
even like I'm originally from a larger town, like we had far more community programs, and I did see like more community activism and more things within the community that were to foster programs to aid children and learning and development and things like that. I don't
Hmm.
see as much of that. And granted, I'm in a larger city, but I
Hmm.
still don't even see much of that promoted today. It seems like children are there's not a lot of that available to children. But also I don't see people saying taking the community to task, or taking the leaders to task and saying we don't have any of this and this is what we need. I don't see people raising the white flag or raising a flag and saying, hey, there's a void here.
There's a
because they don't care.
they don't care. I mean, it's not. It's the parents. It's the school system. It's the community. Churches can have literacy programs. How come they don't?
Mm,
Churches, they have a church on Sunday, maybe Saturday. Uh,
yeah,
Church is empty most of the time with nobody there. How come they don't start a literacy program for
you're right.
kids?
And my church is like humongous. But I no longer attend, but like literally they have rooms set up where I mean it's a small mega church. They could do
Mhm.
all of that. And all
Yeah.
of these churches, they have the room, they have the capacity, they have licensed teachers, and
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
wouldn't be difficult to do. And not the crazy thing is there's grants and there's money out there available for it.
I mean, you have retired people. About 25% of your adults are retired, right?
Yeah.
With nothing to do. They can donate their time, 10, 15 hours a week to sit down with a young person and read. with a child and read. They know how to read. They were educated.
Right.
How come we can't pull these people together? Because we don't
I was
care.
just, yeah,
Yeah. And
I
I
was just
and
talking
I
to my husband
go ahead.
about
Yeah.
that.
Because I'm starting to realize. Because I've talked to people. Because I've been in this game damn near 35, almost 40 years. Okay. I talked to people on the ground. I talked to people in the middle. I talked to the elites. I said, okay, I'm learning that women actually like this community that we have. They like this. They're fine with the way things are. I'm starting to, as I look back in history, they haven't changed anything. When you talk about programs for boys, no. What about the girls? Well, the boy, you need men to be on your level, right? Well, no, they'll make it. Okay, send them to trade school or wherever, right? I said, when are you guys gonna actually? I said, so in other words, you like the way things are. You have to because nothing changes, and you don't get upset. Now, when them white boys stop having sex and start having dates and start rejecting women, them white women get upset. They're upset. All of a sudden, no, we can't have these incels. Okay, they're not going to school. They're not in college. They're not getting jobs. They're on the couch. No, we got to stop. Stop. We got to do something about this. You got books, you got programs, you got articles written, you got all this kind of stuff trying to encourage these white boys to come back to the table. They a
Mhm.
wholesale stop. Okay, you got the Brookings Institute in on this, which is a major
Wow.
defense contractor think tank. Okay, this is major. This is national policy. Brookings Institute been around over 100 years. When they get involved, there's an issue. Okay, now when the white boys start doing acting like brothers, all of a sudden everything got to stop because white women don't like that. Why is that? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is
This
this is
is
this the community that y'all want? That's what I'm trying to figure out because I'm listening to the PhDs complain, okay, about trying to put programs to help black boys, help black men get to the other side, and they get a lot of pushback. I'm trying to figure out is this the society that you guys want?
It is. And it's so funny that you even said something about a defense contractor because
Hmm.
I was talking to my father the other day and I was like, hey, Dad. I was like, I'm not trying to be funny or nothing,
Hmm.
but I've noticed that there are a lot more black women in leadership positions on the arsenal than there ever really have been. And he said point blank, like literally without a smile or smirk on his face, he was like, yeah, it's to keep black men out. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
dang. And my dad's 73 and still works, in contracting, but for a government contractor. Sorry, that's my mom in the background.
Oh, tell us we said hi.
Everybody said hi, mom.
No, no, no. We're all family here.
But it's so prevalent at this point that there is this type of a like we don't care about these men, particularly we don't care about black men. This air about society, but even more, it saddens me that we as black women who are the ones championing it in at the cost of our sons. Like
I agree.
I stopped being friends with a woman. Like I kid you not, me and T used to like legit just I could not for the life of me understand how you're married to a black man, you have a black son, but you just have like every negative thing you can say about black men is like
Yeah.
constantly being spewed out of your
Yeah.
mouth. And I just got to the point where I'm good.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I said that contempt and criticism to black women is love. I've heard it. Um,
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know why I can be a fly on the wall. And women is just they're talking, to themselves, right, to each other, just all kind of stuff. I said, okay, this is fun to you guys. It's love.
You know, and this
Criticism is
is
love. Go ahead.
that's part of what what you were your earlier comment, BGS, is part of the reason why I reject the notion that the black community can that black women can lead the black community. Well, black women can have a semblance of a black community without black men, I don't think that it would be a thriving one. Because even when I talked earlier about all of those programs,
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
most, if not all of those programs were led by black men. The basketball camps, the community organization, like all of those programs. And I
Mm-hmm.
am seeing more black men saying hands off and falling back. And that's when we're seeing less of those programs in the black community. And I don't see many black women stepping up and saying, we're going to now, since black men have fallen back, we're going to get together and develop programs for black men, black boys, black children to ensure that they have something to, that is fostering learning, that is fostering an environment of, safety, that is building esteem for our young adult. Like, I don't see any black women stepping up to the plate and replacing the programs that black men once led and once developed in black communities, now that we're seeing less of that. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I don't buy into that notion that, we don't need black men in our communities. We can do it without them, that a pure matriarchal communities without the presence of black men will thrive. That is
Mm-hmm.
bull. And I call cap on that.
Well, the thing is that they have been black women, especially black women, female leadership, have been preaching that man for 100 years. That a family is a. In fact, you had what was her name on Sunday? What's her name?
Oh, Princella.
Princella. What'd she say? A family is what? A black woman and her children, right?
Yes, she did.
Yeah. Same. Diane Stewart says the exact same thing, and she's a PhD. I think she teaches in Georgia. I think she's a
I'm not
professor
familiar
in
with her.
Atlanta. It's a book. I read it. My PhDs are reading it now.
Okay.
It's called Black Women, Black Love. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. And she calls it an Africana Kinship Network. And
Mm.
Mr. KP, you can ask the question, but it's a ladies' night. So
Yeah, I figured that probably be the situation. Well, this is my
we, we,
one.
real
Sorry.
quick question. Go ahead.
All right, thank you for letting me on, even though it's ladies' night. My one question is, with the situation with the guy that mentioned about the seven, baby mamas and stuff,
Uh
and
huh.
we know about with the future, is there a
Uh
situation where the women are going to have to, what, as we always say, not validate, but have to pretty much investigate the men they involve themselves with to prevent these types of, I call them like gremlins. They keep reproducing themselves and not stepping up and having accountability and responsibility. You just say, hey, it's your fault. You didn't, you knew the game, the rules of the game.
if you go any place in the world, right? I don't care where you go, any traditional society in the world, who uh, who determines who has access to a womb? Whose purview is it? Is it men or is it the women? It's
The
always the
men.
women. It's always the
Hmm.
women. It's always the women.
That's
If the
true.
women, you have to, if you might have to go through dad first, but initially you have to go through mama. You want access to her daughter, and her daughter, and mama keeps her daughter in check. In fact, I was just doing a consultation with one of my clients, right? With one of my subs, right? He's from Pakistan, and he's vetting a Pakistani woman that's here, right? And he's got a PhD, she's got a PhD. Uh, he's trying to vet her for work for marriage. Because, traditional, she's Muslim, and she's chunky. He said, "Okay, baby, you got to lose the weight." And
Hmm.
uh, so she says, "Well, you have to accept me the way I am." So he calls his mother and said, "Mother says, how come she just doesn't lose the weight?" And her mother says the same thing. How come you just don't lose the weight? Okay.
Hmm.
Mama checks them. Okay. He said about his sisters. His sisters have mouths because they're modern, want to be modern women, right? And first their
Hmm.
mama says, "You ain't gonna get married with that mouth." Okay.
Hmm.
Mama checks them, right? You go to the Asians, right? Patriarchal society. But thing is that um, mama checks the woman, okay, with your mouth, with your weight, with your looks, with your attitude. You're not gonna get a husband with that attitude, with that mouth, with that blah blah blah, right?
Yes.
Wasn't men that came up with the term leftover women, okay?
Hmm.
Women came up with that and because you start having your period at 12, 13. At 25, 26, you've thrown away half of your fertility.
Facts.
because
Facts.
you start losing your fertility at 35. You've thrown away half of your fertility. In other words, you passed your prime age of having a family in their opinion. But it's women actually. Women are always supposed to have the purview of checking wombs right before, especially before birth control. Women had to do that. No, no, baby, you can't open your legs like that. You can't.
Hmm.
That boy ain't gonna be you no good. Okay, got to chase him
Hmm.
away because he's not any good for you. And then they get the father to come in and send him to your father to have him checked out. Okay.
Yeah.
If,
Yep.
but the thing is, women check the women. But go ahead, you guys can weigh in on this.
Oh, I wanted to say it was like I'll go my closing. You brought up about the Pakistani young lady. As
Hmm.
we're all, if you remember the movie Godfather Part Two or One, remember when he married the Italian girl when he went to Sicily to hide out.
Okay.
And then when she ended up getting killed by the car explosion, he ended up coming back home and he ended
Hmm.
up marrying Kay.
Okay. The
And
white woman.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, and then they had that scene down the line where I'm not promoting domestic violence of any sort, but they had it where she got loud with him and he ended up slapping her.
Hmm.
But my
Hmm.
point being is, we always had a discussion. If he, if her name was Apollonia, the Italian
Yeah.
girl, never blew up in the car,
Yeah.
his life would have turned out probably 10 times different, probably better, because she was like you say, with Italian women, other ethnicities, they're more guarding of the females in their group because they believe of that, your chastity as well as your respectfulness and
Yeah.
your, more important, your virtue. Your
Yeah.
virtue is important. That's your value. That's your gold. And when you just hand it out or feel as though it doesn't have any worth or value, then you're going to find yourself being the term leftover women in your early 30s,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. 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 When it leftover women, it's not a term that Kevin came up with, right? Japanese. Well, hell, I heard that from. I was actually looking at a video about the young girls in Guatemala getting married, right? And her mother was saying, yeah, if she gets to be 25, she's too old to get married. So that's leftover. That's traditional society.
Have you ever seen the Disney version of Mulan?
Yeah.
So, okay, so in the Disney version of Mulan, there's a moment in there because I just watched it with Ava the other day.
Hmm.
It growing up, I guess of course, growing up, you don't pay attention to it, but there's a moment where the older lady like points to another lady, and she's like, basically if Milan doesn't straight up, she gonna end up like this. They pan over
Hmm.
to this old lady, like
Yeah.
just like, and I'm just like, oh wow. Even as like children, like we were taught through these princess movies, like, and even though in Milan, of course, she ends up being the one who saves the day and
Yeah.
girl power or whatever. It's just funny that like she just totally wanted to turn her nose up at the idea of having to find a man and things like that, and it's just clear as day that it's like it's
Yeah.
fed to us, like these things are spoon fed to us.
Yeah. Yeah. You. All children have to be socialized to actually operate inside their society. Okay, we call it brainwashing, but it's socialization. All of them. I don't care whether you're in the rainforest, you're in the middle of Tokyo. You have to be socialized to actually operate inside your in your community, your society. You have to be. So we all get it. But the thing is, how do we get it, and what does it mean, and what is the why behind the what? And our black community operates that way. There's a why behind the what. The thing is that the way we actually want our community to actually operate? There's a reason we do it. The thing is why.
And it seems like at this point that women are just rejecting the social construct, or what has become like the social norms, and kind of like that's where we are, the what we've been socially constructed, or what we've accepted as the norm, that women today are rejecting that in mass.
If I could just say this,
Okay,
young
okay.
lady.
Is a closing thought. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. My closing part, I'm just nothing bashing against women, but a young lady I was quite friendly with, 40 years old, multi-degreed, UVA, VCU, but she went back and as the Godfather once said, her natural desire of having a family kicked in at about 36, 37. She was previously married for a couple of years, but husband, I believe, whatever reason they didn't
Uh-huh.
want to have a child, so they divorced. But she said she wanted to have a child, and I didn't want to bash her with it. Well, why didn't you have a child in your mid 20s or late
Hmm.
20s?
Yeah.
But she realized that she didn't want to live and she has her own home, but she didn't want to live alone. And that's that thing of which those that have been told go to school, get your education, which is good,
Right.
have your own type of independence,
Right.
eventually come back to their natural desire of they don't want to be just a person with a nice house and a career. They want to have a family because that's the picture when you look at grandma and granddaddy in their 60s. What's around them? The family. That's the legacy of which shows their life had some type of meaning. She has a dog, Chihuahua. So I want, he wasn't just saying that to be funny. He was pretty much pointing out the reality of a lot of women, not just black women, women in general. Or it's gonna be like Japan, like we see in Japan currently in the
Hmm.
next 20 years. So that's all I gotta say. Thank you for taking my call, though.
All right. Appreciate you for coming up. Okay. Uh, there's a lot of moving pieces to this about societies and how you construct the environment to actually foster certain things. It's probably too complicated to get into here. We've actually gone over that stuff like for years. Me and the name of the protagonist, Dr. J. Um, Dr. Neil, Green Gorilla. We've gone over this stuff like countless times about how you build a society. Even Sister Nicole, because she has to deal with mice, so she has to deal with biology. So,
Mm-hmm.
so the environment actually fosters this kind of stuff. That's how come it spread throughout the whole world. The thing is that now it's a world problem. That's how come now they want to do something about it. Now you have a world out of balance, swung too far towards the female. And the guys are saying, you know what? That's why can we get these guys actually not participating? Fuck it, we're not going to do anything. We're gonna actually going to play our video games, be online, get some, watch some porn, get us some lube. We're good. We're not
Because
going to
I mean,
participate.
after that, like, who really wants to like? And I've even noticed my best friend.
Hmm.
If I'm 35, James is 34.
Okay.
He's 34. He's short. Like that is
Mhm. Yeah.
he's short, but he's a handsome guy. Like him and T have, formed their own friendship and things like that. And TV best with me
Hmm.
all the time. But like, my best friend goes to work and goes home and he's comfortable with it. Like I always tease him. I'm like, you go at the end of the day, you probably gonna have to go find you a white girl to like just kick it and settle down
And
with.
white girls are insufferable too. That's like them white guys
Yeah,
come
but
down.
and
They,
then,
they
but
come
that's
from.
what he
Yes.
said. He was like, no, they're all like he was like,
They're all
no, at
insufferable.
this
Yeah.
point, like
Yeah.
all women are an issue.
And the thing is that uh, it's something I learned from the MGTOWs, right, about monk mode, right, and me being a monk, okay, I've counseled guys through what we call mini monkhood during COVID. I said, okay, it's like like being off of sugar, right? Once you get past the shakes, like the first 90 days, you're good, right? The problem is what you're going to notice when you have to what you're going to notice when you actually have to recommit, get back out there dating, is how much emotional labor you have to put into that woman to actually be with her. That's going to be an issue because you've never actually had a break long enough to actually not date and not be involved with a woman. I said you're going to actually learn that you put in way more emotional labor into that woman than she puts into you. Believe it or not.
Mm. I
Believe it or
have a
not.
question for you,
Go ahead.
BGS.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you so I was watching a video of a
Hmm.
guy. He was a psychologist and he was talking about, this whole study that came out in reference to men, going over 12 months without dating or,
Yeah.
having any kind of sexual contact with women,
Right.
yada yada yada. And he was talking about that study and breaking it down, and he was talking about it and kind of highlighting it as a dangerous thing and saying that we'll see men escalating and we'll see more acts of violence and yada yada yada. Do you, especially as a MGTOW monk,
Hmm.
do you think that there's any truth to that, or what are
No.
your thoughts on,
Okay.
that creating dangers in society or men becoming violent as a result of not being
Okay.
able to engage with women?
What kills societies is not violence. What kills societies? Indifference. When people don't
Mm-hmm.
care enough to be involved in the society, it dies. It's indifference. That's what they're afraid of. The Chinese are not afraid of rioting. They're afraid of all the men lying flat because their lives they don't have any meaning anymore. You know, I get more meaning out of porn and video games and doing the minimum. Okay, because a man that lives by himself, he doesn't need very much. He needs a room, he needs a bed, he needs food, he needs heat and electricity. That's it. Okay. So instead of him earning 50, 60, $70,000 a year, he needs 15. You don't need a man does not need a whole house. He needs a room. He needs a room. He needs a place to put his stuff, a small amount of stuff. That's all he needs. Okay. A monk can live in like a little, what they call it, a monk cell, right? Okay. As long as he got what he needs, it can be the size of a bathroom. He's fine. What if every man in society started doing that? What's going to happen to society? What do you think?
It'll fall apart.
It'll fall apart. You have a complex society. There's an energy society that needs goods to go from one place to the next, and ships to go from one part of the globe to the next. All these electric lines, all these transportation
Absolutely.
lines, streets,
And
all the
women aren't doing any of that
and they can't
at
do
all.
any of that. They can't do
At
any of
all.
that at all. Okay, they can't do it. What if these guys decide not to? You're already seeing it, right? Even fast food joints, right? Don't have enough people.
Look at all of the shortages that we're suffering, just like in general, all of the mass shortages that we're suffering. And that's why I don't understand how women can make these, faux compelling arguments that we can survive without men, and what life would be like in a complete
Yeah.
matriarchal society. Like, after, and I enjoyed our interview with Princella, but I went and I was recent because I was talking to my husband, and he's a very well read man, and he was
Uh-huh.
challenging a lot of the notions that she came up with, and a lot of her
Uh-huh.
ideologies. And I was
Uh-huh.
studying, he was saying matriarchal societies, that most societies aren't true matriarchal societies. That So I was looking up some of them, and he was right that even matriarchal societies have male-led armies and male-led
Yeah, you have to.
militaries and
Yeah,
stuff.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we need men to survive, and he was challenging that notion. He said some of the same things that you just said. What would women do if they couldn't rely on men to
Yeah.
do some of these things?
It-
Women aren't building bridges. Women, aren't building these massive structures that we need to get from point A. He was
e-
saying some of the same things, and I was like, wow, that is so very
Even
true.
in primitive societies where you don't have all that stuff, right? What happens to a matriarchal society that loses their men? They die.
Yeah, and they're vulnerable. She even acknowledged that. I talked about Hawaii, and I said, "Well, they're vulnerable," and she said, "Well, that's because men are violent." And I was like,
Of
"Well,
violence.
yeah,
No, they die. You have to have buy-in. You have to have buy-in on both sides. Both sides have to get
yeah,
something. Okay? In a patriarchal society, okay, for the children to survive and the woman that should survive, you have to have a man. The buy-in is okay. I need his labor and his efforts to actually raise these kids, right? I have to give him something. Okay, he gets control of the kids and the property because if we give it to a woman, what is she gonna do? She's gonna leave with the kids and the property. She's gonna leave him high and dry. He doesn't have
mhm,
any buy-in. He's not gonna buy in. I said, I'm not gonna buy in to get raped every time just to actually deal with a woman. Just cut marriages down. They're not gonna buy into that. And the young guy, the marriage rate's probably going to drop to like 25% by the time we get to Generation Z. The buy-in is gone. In fact, it might drop lower than that. They're already gone. Okay, they're not even dating. I just read an article about in New York about the dating climate. Okay, about them not participating. And I had like about 4 or 5 guys from New York said, yeah, that's what the dating climate's like. We're not dealing with this stuff anymore. It's better for us to stay home. They're not going to participate. What happens when they don't participate? In dating, mating, going out, okay, any of that. What's going to happen? Society will start to fold in upon itself.
wow, yeah,
Yeah, and that's what they're afraid. Not afraid. They're not afraid of violence. Okay, most people are not like. Most guys are not like that. You have the biggest problem with violence. I'm gonna tell you what it really is. If you actually look at it, first thing to look at is are they on ADHD drugs? 90% of the time, you have a mass shooting that guy's on some kind of psychotropic drug. that he that didn't work out. Most time, 9 times out of 10, those guys commit suicide. Okay, that one out of
Mhm.
every 10 times they go take people with them.
Right. And it's not
As a
happening
girl who was
daily.
on, but honestly, like as a girl who spent like literally, my parents put me on my first ADHD medication when I was in the third grade. It was Ritalin. I
Mm.
did not get off ADHD medication until I was 25, and my white therapist was like,
And
I
that's
hate to be the one to tell you this,
mhm.
but that is not meant for your body.
No,
Like, and
no,
she was
not at
like,
all.
and the things that you've been experiencing and the episodes that you have been having,
Hmm.
I guarantee you, if we start to wean you off of this and this and this,
Hmm.
you're gonna be fine. Literally, I just do medical marijuana now and call it even, and I'm perfectly fine. Like,
Yeah.
like it's such a day and night because those psychotropic drugs. I see why them kids be trying to kill themselves and take everybody else out
Yeah.
with them. Like,
Yeah.
I've had suicidal episodes because of being on medication. Like when Tyrese be getting up there telling y'all his business and stuff. Like when he first came out, I said, "Oh, he on something."
Hmm.
Like I know what that's like. Like it's those types of things. Like you're absolutely right, BGS. Like I knew white boys growing up. Like we again, living in Alabama.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like it's a different. Like rednecks on Ritalin is like it's a thing for a reason.
Yeah.
It's a thing for a reason.
that's why they get on the what is it? What do they call it? The what do they call the crank? What do they call it? What's the name of that stuff?
Meth.
Meth, because that's a substitute for the ADHD drugs. Because when you get in college, if you can't find meth, you actually get the Ritalin, same almost the
Or
same
they go
stuff.
for the Adderall,
Oh, the Adderall.
the
Yep.
good shit.
Yeah, yeah. But if you find a mass shooting where some kid actually walked in and started shooting up the place, right? Find out his medical history. Is he on something? Is he on drugs? Is
Mhm.
he on these psychotropic drugs? Okay, 9 times out of 10, that's what you're gonna find, and they know this because they're using the ADHD drugs, the Adderall, and the Ritalin to actually control the boys because the school system is not designed for boys. Okay, how do you get boys to sit
Agreed.
down? Yeah, like a act like a
Agreed.
little girl. You got to put them on something.
Absolutely. I've made that
Mhm.
argument on our show and I've said that literally it's not they're trying to condition boys and boys aren't conditioned for that environment for learning in that type of environment.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree 100%.
yeah. I mean, the only way you're going to empower women to be equal to men in certain arenas, right, is to tamp down the boys and raise the women up. Okay, if that's what you
Mhm.
want,
Mhm.
okay, then you have to squash the boys down, their masculinity down. You have to squash it down. It's what they've done. The thing
Yeah.
is, women don't want to be men. That's what they're finding out. Y'all really don't want to be men.
You know what it's similar to,
Hmm.
and I never knew if there's any truth to this, but that the notion that in prison that they used to give men that soft Peter because they wanted to kind of like calm them down and like lower
Yeah,
their testosterone. Like it's
testosterone. Yeah.
literally we got to control them. It's
Hmm.
similar. It's like the junior, version of that.
Yeah.
Because they want men docile. Like
Yep.
it's easier to control black women when, and not even just black women, it's easier to control like little boys on Ritalin. And I say that because like you have to like literally be in class with these boys to see like they be so like drugged up.
Hmm.
Like, but then at PE, they
Hmm.
always have like the most energy still. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's
so
the
you mean
only
to tell
time they
me?
want them to have energy is when
But
they want
then
them to
they
be
shame
physical.
you. But it's
Yeah.
also like the shame because like I grew up in a time when they used to call your name over the intercom to come take your medicine in the
Hmm.
office.
Hmm. My
Like
husband always
I
says
don't.
that. He says, watch how they treat he's specific, like little black boys. As a conscious
Hmm.
man, he's always like, don't let, like, and he tells us that as women, like, he's a little boy. He should be running. Like, don't,
Yes.
he's supposed to have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
He's supposed to run and jump. And that's what he's supposed to do. And I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm so used to being like, oh, sit down, you should be sitting, you should be. No, he's a little boy. They're little
Yeah.
boys. They should be running, playing, jumping. That's what
Hmm.
little boys do. They're high energy.
Yeah. Like my grandson, my only thing is, as long as your hands are moving doing homework, You can move around all you want as long as those hands move.
Yep.
He'd be twisting in the seat and singing to himself. Head be bobbing back and forth, hands
Yes.
moving. As long as you're doing your
Mhm.
work and concentrating, I don't care what happens to the rest of your body.
Yep.
You're not supposed to sit still. I don't care about that. Hands moving. Little boys are not little girls. They never were. They don't even learn the same way. But the thing is, they're trying to force. There's a good book called The Boy Problem, written by Julia Grant. She says that they had to change the whole educational system in 1912 to fit boys because it didn't work. Too many women, and the female teachers were trying to make little boys into little girls. It didn't work. They had to change the whole system. They didn't change it back till 1972 with Title IX.
The interesting thing is that I'm a training manager and I literally go to so many conferences about adult learning theories, adult learning methodologies, and
Mm-hmm.
that teaches us that adults learn in so many different ways, and that
Mm-hmm.
our learning materials should be modified to ensure we're captivating a variety of different audiences, and
Mm-hmm.
we need to keep in mind that that people learn differently, that just
Mm-hmm.
because someone has their phone out doesn't mean that they're not able to pay. Like literally we are
Mm-hmm.
catering our training material to how adults learn. Why aren't there a myriad of studies being done on the fact that boys learn differently too, and that classrooms should also be training should also be
They,
modified in
they,
school should also be
they,
modified to their
they,
learning style.
they did that. They did that in 1917, 1916. They did that. That's why they changed it in the first place, right? They already know this. It's not new stuff. They already know this stuff.
Wow.
They know it's stuff. The thing is, they want the perfect student supposed to be a little girl. Okay,
Mm,
they want little boys to act like little girls. How do you social,
Absolutely.
how do you socialize little
Absolutely.
boys to act like little girls? Okay, you got Tampa.
Surround them with feminine things. Like we just
Yep.
watched I showed T this when school first started back this year.
Mm-hmm.
The shade room was showing off like different teachers' classrooms and things. And
Mm-hmm.
there was one of the classrooms that was like a proud family classroom. It was
Mm-hmm.
all purple and pink. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't have a son, but if I had a son and the only representation of a man my son walked into his classroom and saw was Oscar Proud, not
Mm-hmm.
to be funny,
Mm-hmm.
but then like the whole rest of the theme of the classroom was like pink and purple, it would
Yeah.
have been an issue for me.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
have had to ask for more representation. And then when I brought it up to my friends who had sons,
Mm-hmm.
out of four of them, three of them saw no issue. And I was like, I don't know if we can continue to be friends.
The thing is that they've been over three generations. They've been socialized to actually think that way. Okay, we're actually starting to go after what the lefties, right? Me and Mr. Z. Okay, they are so socialized to actually think that way. They don't know that they've been brainwashed. It just comes out, and you hear it. And these are the best of us that are actually teaching everybody else. But the thing is, if you read the literature, you know how they've been trained. You know, you know that they've been socialized to act a certain way. Men have been bucking against this for the last 50 years. But the thing is, it's come to a head now. That like the guys are saying, we don't like this. If this is what you're going to do, we're actually going to not participate. That's what you're saying. 60% of guys don't even want to date anymore. Don't want to have sex anymore. That's the natural driver. Don't you want some sex? No, we don't want sex. We don't want none of that.
that's crazy. I've never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, but because the price is too high.
Mm.
What you want me to be, what you want me to do is too high. I'm not participating in that anymore. And what they find out after COVID, I don't need it like I thought I needed it.
Wow.
I'm good. So now they have to do something. The thing is, what are they going to do? The black community is going to have to do something. Now, this is the moment where the women can actually say, okay, I want my community to be like this. Okay, what are you going to do with it? If not, guess what's going to happen? The white boys are leaving already, right? They're getting ready to leave. Black men are already out the door for the most part. Passport bros is just one signal that you can actually visibly see. But there's a lot more guys that don't have passport. They're already ready to go out to the already behind them. They can't even keep up with all the passport requests. That's how bad it is. You're
Wow.
sending a signal. You need to change something. Otherwise, we're going to leave. In fact, half of us are already out already. What are you going to do? Do you want your men? If not, hey, go 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 deal with the white boys. But the thing is, white boys are a hell of a lot tougher than we are.
Really?
We're yeah, yeah. Black men are conditioned to serve. Okay, we're trained to do housework, cook, clean, babysit, change
True.
diapers, all that shit. Our mothers train us exactly the same, right?
That's true. All the women that I see, like all of the videos that I see on social media of women like complaining that their husbands do absolutely zero, and
Mm.
that when they have children at home, they work outside the home, they come home, and like the husbands like give them zero help. It's always a white man, and I can predict it, and I'll be like, I bet her husband white, and 99.999% of the time it's a white husband.
Yeah,
So you're right in regards to that. I will
yeah.
agree with that.
I read.
But
You go ahead.
the
Yeah,
women will, then you have on the flip side women, and it's typically like the divestors who will act like, oh, my life, I've made it, my life is so perfect because I have this white husband, and they want to show, the wonderful side of things, and really and truly what their focus is typically materialism in that regard.
it's deeper than that. It's really deeper than that. Go back and read Bell Hooks, right? What does she say? The biggest,
I've never read Bell Hooks.
go read Ain't I a Woman, right? In fact, I actually
Hmm.
did a video on it, right? She
Hmm.
says in her book, the biggest thing about racism is that white men refuse to marry black women.
Mm.
And that's consistent throughout feminist literature.
That's why I haven't read her books, because I'm like, she's a feminist. But
Yeah, yeah. But thing is, this all goes all the way back to 1850s with the Sojourner Truth, right? Okay,
mhm,
uh, the white femmes were saying that the place of a black woman is beside a white man and her and serving her white husband
mhm,
since the 1850s, before we actually got emancipated. And black women have always been the handmaiden to white women. So come in 1964, you let them take your man's jobs and give it to white women. Nobody said shit.
oh,
Nobody said shit. All the wealth. Why do you think the wealth doubled in the white community? You took black men's jobs, gave it to white women.
mm,
What did you expect? She gonna marry black men? White men gonna marry you? No, they married each other. Their wealth doubled.
of course, of course.
In fact, I'm getting ready to do a video talking about black male unemployment and how women are concerned, which is something that Clark and Moynihan talked about back in the 1960s. But the thing is, black women didn't want to hear it then.
Mm. Yeah, I'm interested. I definitely will be watching that. I was considering
Yeah.
doing the video on Moynihan with my husband, because all the reviews that I see of Moynihan's material, it's
Hmm.
typically one-sided, and it
Yeah.
always comes from what the black woman did wrong. And of course, clearly he highlights, flaws of the black woman,
Right.
but I don't see any really objective reviews of his report. So I will
Yeah.
be looking out for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. There's three things that Moynihan wanted to actually fix the black family. Three things, right?
Mhm.
Is one. He wanted to get the boys away from their mothers, right?
Mhm.
They're in a matriarchal centered, female centered environment. Okay, get them out of that, right? Give them their own educational system. Okay,
Mhm.
put them in male dominated societies like the military, the fire department, police department, right?
Mhm.
So they can be around men. Third thing is give them the jobs. Okay, give them white men's jobs. Those are three things that he wanted
Really?
for the black community. Top three things, right? He said if you do those three things, everything else will change. So they can actually fit in to the families of America. That's what he
Mm.
wanted. They don't talk about that.
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll be looking out for that video for sure.
Yeah. One thing I want to get to is about the high value man and them cheating, because we didn't get to that. Since
Okay.
I have you
Mhm.
captive, okay?
Okay.
All right. And this is something that because I've actually talked to women that are 100 octane and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in LA, okay,
Mm-hmm.
athletes, actors, millionaires, they all cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one of them.
Mm-hmm.
They all cheat. They got a little side chick. The wives know it because especially the ones that are actually famous or actually on the road to be famous
Mm-hmm.
before they married. You had to compete against all these other women. Think it was actually going to give them up once you got with him? No, they all know.
So do you remember my comments about men cheating?
About them cheating. Okay,
Yeah.
when you say cheating, what does that mean? You're cheating against what? Your vows. Okay, and the second thing
Mm-hmm.
is that remember my 6 rules of BGS about mating.
No. Can you
Okay,
refresh my memory?
okay. Take care of me. Take care
Mm-hmm.
of my kids. Take care of my house. Right.
Okay.
If you're gonna cheat, you probably will. Don't bring back any babies, attitudes, or diseases.
Okay.
If you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do it, don't let me find out.
Mm.
Same thing happens with high value men. And
Mm-hmm.
in fact, a friend of mine, okay, she's how much is she worth? She's probably worth like God, like $20 million. Okay, into real estate. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
with her husband for like 26 years, right? Okay, same thing. As long as she didn't know, she said she suspected, and there's always one around. As long as she didn't find out, she was good. When she found out, then she had to bounce. Something happened where she had to leave. She couldn't take it, but she knew they was cheating. The thing is, to be with a man like that, there had to be something. Had to give up something. One thing, if you can't be with 100 octane dude, if you can't stand a guy that cheats, that's
Mm.
impossible. Famous guy, he gonna cheat. If you can't take it, you know the game before you actually get into what's the name? Aisha Curry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it.
Mm.
Steph Curry got 3 side chicks. Okay, NBA, he's worth like what, $80 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, that's
So
the
you don't think
NBA life.
Steph Curry is faithful? LeBron James is faithful?
Hell no, I know they're not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I know they're not because once
Mm-hmm.
she came out, right? My son is a semi-pro basketball player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gym talk, right?
Okay.
Okay, gym talk. Aisha Curry went off. Why is she mad? Steph got 3 side chicks that
Mm.
she knows about. That's come. She wants a side dude to make things equal. Nah,
Mm.
baby, you ain't got that kind of jack, baby. You ain't got that.
So that's my problem because okay,
Hmm.
so and I'll remind you what my comment was in
Hmm.
reference to men cheating, but the
Hmm.
thing is those rules never like those are things that a man can't guarantee. So a man can never guarantee those rules. When we think about Kobe, the late great Kobe, we think about, do you know who Tim Anderson is? You know who Tim
Who?
Anderson is of the Chicago White Sox baseball player?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. Mm.
So yeah, he's a like high level baseball player,
Mm-hmm.
Chicago White Sox. His
Uh,
side
uh,
piece
uh,
just came out.
Tiger
So
Woods. Yeah.
yeah, Tiger Woods. Like the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, men, though you can't. Those are rules that you can't guarantee. But my
Udoka.
comments were that it shows a lack of it shows a lack of discipline, and that men can be like, especially these athletes, especially entertainers, you
Mm-hmm.
can be disciplined in every facet of
Yeah.
your life,
Yes. Yes.
every facet of your
Mm-hmm.
life. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the one area that you can't be disciplined in. And my
Mm-hmm.
comment was, and this is coming from a woman whose
Mm-hmm.
husband was Muslim for over 30 years
Okay.
before he decided to leave Islam.
Oh, really?
He is not monogamous. He believes in polygamy. So
Mm-hmm.
I said that a woman should be okay with your program. I
Mm-hmm.
don't sign up for a monogamous relationship if that's not what you want.
Yeah.
It should be, this is my program. Like, you either with it or you're not.
Yes. Yeah.
That's my point.
Why?
Not
Why?
that
Why?
you have to be
Why,
monogamous.
why do you think Kevin said high value men have options and they cheat?
I
Because
don't
they
know.
do. In other words, if you want that guy,
Hmm.
guess what comes with him?
Extra women.
Extra women. Do you want that?
Hmm.
If the answer is no, he's not the guy for you.
Okay, so then it's like, okay, you know what it is. So you
Hmm.
know this is my program. But it's like, then don't, you're not deceiving someone if she knows what she's signing up for.
Yeah.
It's the deceit. It's like, don't tell me it's one thing and then it's another because you can't practice discipline in this one area of
He,
your life.
he never. They never do tell him that. They don't
Okay.
tell him that.
Yeah, well then I don't have a problem with
But
someone who's not
and when
leading.
but we in a monogamous society, we call that what? If you're married, we call that what? Cheating.
You know, I'm married, and if what my I'm
And,
married, but I feel like your
but
arrangement
no,
between
I
your
know.
spouse is between you
In,
and your spouse.
in a monogamous society, what do we call it? As according to the rules,
I don't know
cheating.
what everybody else calls it.
No,
I
no, no.
call it
Yes, yes,
two
you do. But you,
adults
no,
deciding
no,
what
no. You
works best
you
for
you're
them.
raised in a society, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you in mixed company, if you say your husband sleeps around, has four side chicks, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
saying that he does, but say you do, right? You get in a mixed company, say my husband has four side chicks. Girl, how you put up with that?
The
That's
thing,
cheating.
yeah, I get
Okay.
it. I know what society calls it, but I don't subscribe to that because if that were the case, Muslims can't have multiple women.
Well, m-
Hebrews can't have multiple
w-
wives. Like I don't subscribe to the
in
white man's law.
well, the thing is, whatever pact you make within your group, okay, just like in Utah, right, where they have multiple wives. You're not the only
Hmm.
ones, right?
Right,
Um,
right,
yeah,
exactly.
okay. But but you can't do it legally in the United States because we
Hmm.
have a monogamous society. Okay, you can't do it
Hmm.
legally in the United States. But thing is, and if you get caught doing it, they call it what? Cheating.
Yeah, yeah, you're a bigamist.
So when I say high value men cheat according to the rules, they
Okay,
follow the
okay.
rules. Okay.
In that
Okay.
regard, okay.
I
Um,
don't know one that my son is a semi-pro. He's not high value, but he's an athlete. Okay, the
yeah.
women that actually mess with him, they accept that. They
Okay,
accept it
yeah, yeah.
because they saw him do it when they met him. I'm doing this as I'm meeting you. Okay, his
Hmm.
wife was cool with it when they first got married. It went on. Guess what? She started going nuts. I can't take
Right.
this. But she's young. She was young, so I said,
Hmm.
okay, you're young. Things you signed up for it. He was doing it when you met him. Why do you think he's going to stop?
Hmm.
He's definitely not.
He is
Uh,
not. That's why. That's why. In other words, Kevin was actually giving a women shit test, right? When he put that out there,
mhm.
women misinterpreted that. Why they got to cheat? Why they got to do this? Why? Because they can. Okay. Do you want that guy? Do you want a Magic Johnson that slept with 1,500? What is it? 15,000 women.
Um, I wouldn't, but somebody does.
Lots of them do.
Yeah.
I see the line. Okay.
I mean,
Basically,
clearly,
yeah, yeah. You see the line,
I'm
like
certain.
concrete
Not
wants a
most
one.
most women would.
Yeah, concrete wants to get the magic. She got to. Okay, the line forms way back there, right around the corner. Okay, you're
I
number
don't
one
like the
thousand one
popular
hundred and
guy, but
twenty-three.
I know most would.
Mm-hmm. That's what comes with it. In fact, that's what my friend she was telling me. Okay, she said, I said, how come you didn't get the guy that was an athlete and all this? She said, I don't want what came with it.
Yeah. I want the low key guy that people sleep on, but
Yeah.
most would. I get it. I get it.
Well, yeah. I tell guys about the eights, nines, and tens. Okay, they have options. They're gonna exercise them at some point. You got
Mm-hmm.
to be good with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
That's
why?
a
Wait.
good point.
I said, why you think a billionaire's average is at eight? Right? He marries a six, and
Mm,
his side chicks a 10. Why you think
mm,
that is? You
mm.
can't trust her.
Ooh, that's a good point.
You want to? How do I know? Don't ask me how I know. I seen it myself. Can't
Mhm.
trust her.
Right.
Like what is it? What's his name? From The Wire. Prop Joe. Uh,
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
proposition will fall kindly on your ear, and I've seen it. Okay,
I bet.
somebody somewhere is gonna tell her something that's gonna fall kindly on her ear. She's gonna actually gonna get swayed. She's gonna
Mhm.
go. Just don't tell
Mhm.
me about it. Make sure you cover that shit up.
But I think most men don't recognize that. They want the 8, 9, or no, they want the 9 or 10, and that's when they get their feelings hurt. And I think that's why a lot of them or they go after the 9 or 10 and then they face
th-
rejection, and that's why a lot of them
that's what that's
are
what that's why I know they
get
ain't had
hurt.
one. That's why I know they ain't had one.
Oh.
Okay, I went to school with them. Okay,
Hmm.
I saw them when I saw the little 8, 9s, and 10s when they were like, in 4th or 5th grade. I saw them
Okay.
grow up. Okay, been around them, not impressed. But
Hmm.
you got to do this, this, and this. That's too high, baby. Okay, I ain't
Hmm.
doing all that. You want to be with me? Nope. Give me this little 7 or 8 over here. Okay, I'll, I'll
But you
pass
know
the 9
what's
and 10.
crazy?
Good.
The 8s, 9s, and 10s typically in school, like 10 years later, you catch them and they're the ones that's busted. The girls who were like shy and awkward or played sports,
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones that are 8s, 9s, and 10s,
Yeah,
after they,
it's called
school.
it's called bodies.
Yeah.
If you're a 9 or 10, you got access. You start getting bodies at 13.
Hmm. Yeah.
Got
True, true,
bodies.
true,
I lost.
true.
Hey, I lost. Well, I was 15. I got my heart broken. Right, to a guy in a
Hmm.
Mercedes,
Hmm.
picking the girl that I was trying to woo. Had her ear, but he's 21, 22 with a Mercedes. What am I gonna do?
Mm, that
It
part.
said, watch you get in the car and drive on right on by. Hey, all right, player, you ain't got that. Go get
Hmm.
your 6, which I did.
Hmm. Hmm.
I tell them, I can tell guys that never went with a 9 or 10. You ain't been with them,
Hmm.
have you? Nope. How do I know? Well, she ain't gonna. I make enough money. She ain't gonna cheat on me. Really? Your millionaire friend's actually gonna proposition her. Trust and
Mm.
believe. Or if she gets tired of you,
And you
she gonna
think
send you
she'll
to
go
pool
to
boy.
the highest bidder?
Uh, most times they do.
Mm.
Look at the what's her name? Uh,
Oh,
uh,
Larsa, yeah.
Larsa Pippen. What she do? Why she get on that jet with Future?
And his Gucci flip flops.
And his Gucci flip flops. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I, I'm black. When I say I'm black pill, I'm black pill. Okay, on both sides.
True.
And I just went through that. Man, I want a bad chick. I want me an 8, 9, or 10. I said, dude, is that what you really want?
Mm.
Is that what you really want? Okay. Which one you want? I want this 8 over here. Okay. Did she choose you? Well, no. Not. I said the only way you get an 8, 9, or 10 is she has to choose you. She has to want to be with you. If not, don't even approach her. She got to want to be with you. Unless you got a hell of a lot of money, don't even approach her. She has to choose. She has to want to be with you for whatever reason. If she doesn't, pass on her.
But their alternative is to go to a third world country and get you a dime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because guess what? In a third world country, where do you rank in a third world country?
Right. Your rank is going to be a 10. You're going to be a 10.
You'll be the top 1%. Who the tens
Yeah.
go after?
Top 1%.
In other words, it's called environment. You want to date, want a
Hmm.
certain kind of woman, and your money's not good here. Go where it is.
Mm. Mm.
It's called capitalism. Okay.
Mm. Yeah.
And the thing is, the world's opened up. So guess what you got? You got exports coming in. Okay.
Hmm.
In other words, Toyota, Nissan, and Honda got to compete against Toyota, Nissan, Honda, Ford and Chevy and Chrysler. You got competition.
Hmm.
Better, cheaper, faster. What are you gonna do? Got two choices: either compete, step up, or you know the wave is actually gonna overtake you. I had 3 guys at the council this week talking about the exact same thing, comparing women here versus over there, someplace else, importing women.
That doesn't sound right,
Why?
because it sounds like they're goods.
They are
Oh my gosh.
black men. Are what? Okay, okay. How do black women pick husbands? Go.
How do black women pick husbands?
What they have to
Typically
have?
by
What?
by who's attractive, by how fine they are.
Okay, looks. What looks? What else?
Hmm.
What
And
else?
their sex game typically.
Okay,
um
that's okay. What else? Give me the top 5.
so looks, sex game, swag,
Okay.
Money is somewhere in there, but that's not necessarily the top three.
Bullshit.
It's black women.
Yes.
That's not
You know what black women, why they pick compromised men. In fact, let's play that. I'm gonna actually show you. Okay. There's a reason that black women pick compromised men. It's because they want control. They don't pick them because it looks or something like that. Looks ain't got nothing to do with that shit, right? Because the dudes that they pick that are, as far as looks are concerned, and you could pick like 50 guys like that. Okay. Of all, let me find this. Cancel that. Let me find this. In fact, I was going to play it earlier, but I said it's probably not appropriate to play it right now. Let me find this. Videos. In fact, I did a video on it. As a matter of fact, I think you probably saw it about compromised Pookie.
Was it recent?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I
didn't catch that one.
Where
now
she,
I gotta go back and find it.
I'm gonna replay it.
If I would have saw that title, I certainly would have caught it.
Yeah, I called it compromised
That sounds
Pookie.
interesting.
Yeah, where she's driving home because she's on her period, supposedly, right? She have her friends drive her home because he's not answering his phone, and she needs pads. So she says.
I would have watched that for sure. That sounds so interesting. I gotta go back and find it. I gotta go back and find that. When I'm showering, I'm gonna be listening to it because it sounds interesting.
Yeah, and we'll play this one, and then we'll go ahead and close. I know you guys got stuff to do. So
grown ass men sitting around, no goals, no aspirations, nothing. So my supposed to be is not answering his phone. Why? I don't know. I didn't call him about 20, 30 times because I am on my period, on my break. And guess what I'm doing, y'all? Guess what I'm doing? I'm heading to my house. I had to get my friend to pick me up. Again, on my break, I had to get my friend, which I have a car that he has access to 24/7, which is no reason why he could not bring me the pads himself. I swear to God, if this is in the house with a, I'm gonna flash. He gonna see a side of me that I've been trying to hold back. I've been trying not to let this side of me out for a long time. I'm sorry, friend, that you even had to go through this. Girl. Go, this me right here. This me. I'm sorry. Again, y'all, I don't know if I'm wrong or not. I really hope I'm wrong. This is my street right here. I really hope I'm wrong. Because if he in the house with it, I swear, girl, if he wait, this my house. There's a car in my driveway. Who the is this? Who is this? I knew it. I knew there was a reason. This mother. Thank you, friend. Thank you. God damn it, this mother. The shit. Shit. Who the car is this? Who the car is this? The in my damn house. You can't answer the phone. We got this. Door would be locked. I swear it better not be a I'm just tired of this shit. Sorry. Where your phone? I called you about 20, 30 times. My period came down. I had to get a ride to my house. You got my call, and you could have did it. You could have came and brought me some pads.
How was I supposed to know that was?
It's called check your phone.
I didn't expect you to be calling early.
Yeah. I need pads.
You out, ain't you?
Watch this. How y'all doing? Watch this. They call it 20, 30 times. That's what I've been doing. Yeah. What you said? You said, I'm out of pads. That's what he said. You would know that if you would have answered your phone and I could have guided you in the right direction. Instead, you want to be sitting here playing Madden 2K with your homeboys. Grown ass men sitting around, no goals, no aspirations, nothing, right?
You know,
What do you do? Don't answer that. What do you do? And whose car is that? Whose car is it?
That's this man girl car. Like, what type of time?
Oh, birds of a feather flock together, right? Right? Your girl just let you take her call all day. I bet you ain't answer her calls either, huh? Yeah. And what is this shit? Y'all got what you was smoking weed? What a weed at? Cause I know gargants when I see that shit. You smoking weed in my house? What are you gambling? Gambling, I know you ain't spent money on snacks, cause this the baby snacks right here. This shit right here, the baby says all on his lap. Ain't even say the baby ain't say the baby a snack.
You act like we can't go buy no more snacks.
Yeah, we could, but we probably are not, right? Because you probably gonna be sleeping by the time I came home from work, right? Not because you been smoking weed and drinking Hennessy, daddy. Been drinking Hennessy with his no good ass friends who ain't got no life. Don't you have aspirations? Don't you want to do something? Huh? Doctor, lawyer, something? No? Just the hood? What you mean? Man, this shit. I'm about to fuck this shit. Man, I'm gonna throw this shit out. I'm tired of you. It's trifling. It's dirty in here. I'm on my period. And my man couldn't come bring me my pants.
How classy that is. You just out here like,
oh, classy. You think I give a classy right now? Look at my house. My house look classy? It probably would if you would do something. Maybe you can help him. Friends. Yeah, instead of helping him eat up all the baby snacks. Yeah, gone. That's what you shouldn't have even been here. You should be at work.
The girl turned off the game.
What you mean? We wasn't even finished the game. Man, we gotta run that back. Say, what you think, bro? We gotta run that bitch.
But skip her.
Alright.
Go to the next house.
Look, I'm about to straighten this up right quick, and I'm gonna come meet y'all around there, bro. Cause she tripping.
You gonna meet them around there? That's what you about to do.
What you want me to do?
That's what you about to do. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm really about tired of you. This what you do every day? This what y'all do all day? And you just clean that shit up before I get home so I don't notice that this the shit you do? It smell like weed in here.
You said you got your pads all over. You said it's your period and shit. You should see.
You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead with your friends. Go do that. You right. Where you going with them keys though?
What you mean?
Where you going with them keys though? Run me them keys. Run me the keys.
Look, huh?
Thank you. And where my house keys?
I lost it, man.
Oh, you lost it? Well, guess what? The locks will be changed when you get back. And I'm going to have all of your stuff right here for you. Yeah, have fun with the 2K. Yeah, all right. I'm tired. Shouldn't have to deal with this. Bunch of no good ass don't want to do shit. Leave a house trifling. Look at this shit.
Any repost?
All right. Complicated. Compromised
There's
Pookie.
so much to digest.
That was painful to watch. You hear me?
Why?
Painful. No,
Why?
really. That was hard to watch. It was hard.
That is typical. You ever watch Baby Boy with Tyrese?
Yep, she acted the same way.
Wow.
And it's like
Compromised.
those aren't even, but it's just the disrespect all around. Like you don't even know those men to be disrespectful. How you know they weren't off that day?
Yes.
Because they're all off in the middle of the day doing the same thing. You know, they're all dressed the same way. Okay, they're all Pookies. Okay, she knows them.
But you chose that Pookie.
She did.
Like you didn't like y'all be on these.
You know why though?
That's the what. The thing is, why did she choose him?
The
Cause
reason it was so
cause
hard to watch
she
is because
equally
black
Uh-huh.
yoked to
women
him.
are viewed as a monolith, and people watching that video will
Mhm.
literally see her and look at me and be like, "Oh, she's a reflection of you." No, the hell she
That no,
ain't.
she is not.
Yeah, that's why it was
I
like,
could
oh,
never walk in my house and speak to my husband like that.
ever.
Nor
Like
would
I
I.
couldn't
Like I would
imagine.
never have a reason
Yeah, but
to speak.
there's far too many women that do. Okay, and there's always a little bit of that in every female, in black female.
Oh no,
Look,
come on,
oh,
Big
oh
Ears,
yeah, oh
don't do
I
that.
yes,
mean, I'm
oh,
not
oh
gonna
yeah.
say it's
I'm
not
not
there. I'm not gonna
no,
say that it's
not
not
like
there.
that. But the thing is, there's
I
a little
just
bit of that
wouldn't.
in every black female. It really is a little bit of it. I'm not saying to
Listen, well,
whatever
this my
degree.
husband' house, so I first off, I couldn't walk in and behave like that. So number
Yeah,
one,
you can't. But
and
thing
he
is,
wouldn't be home
you don't have
playing 2K.
you don't have the same amount that she does. But okay. But the thing is, what I'm saying is that little thread, whatever amount goes through the whole black community, and black men see it.
Come on, nah, no, I
Every
ain't accepting
at
that.
some point, your black woman is going to try to mommy you. She will.
Yeah, okay, yeah, oh yeah,
Now to what degree she tries to mommy you?
Yeah, because there's a difference between like nurturing and like I mean,
No, there's a difference between nurturing and mommying. Okay.
yeah,
that
Uh,
don't like he was acting like a child. So like she trying to mommy him.
yeah.
Like
She
when
was
you're with
clearly
a grown
mommy.
man, there's a difference. He has grown man energy. Nonetheless, nobody deserves like that level of disrespect. The
yeah,
utter disrespect from
the,
the gate. She
the,
felt stupid when she walked in because she just knew he was in there
she
slawing out a woman,
she she
and then she
drove
still acted a fool.
she drove home to check him. Okay,
Yes.
she could have went right around the corner, bought pads at whatever drugstore, and came right on back, or borrowed pads from one of her girlfriends, like you would normally do, right? You guys all, a lot of women, you guys all have a travel kit, okay, that has pads in it for emergencies, right? She could have done that. She didn't do that. She wanted to go home and check him for that very reason, and she gonna take him back.
Oh yeah, she gonna be calling him tonight. Like,
Mhm.
please, come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the compromised males. Just like homeboy in the car. There ain't no difference between him and homeboy in the car. Compromised males.
Wow. Yeah, that was hard to watch. And
Yeah, it was.
and that happens all too often. Like,
You
listen,
in
I've seen that
you in
happen with my
Atlanta. You see that
yeah,
that's ground
listen,
zero for that shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen myself. I ain't even gonna front. But that ain't me. Like I don't like it
No.
pains me for,
Uh-huh.
for like even you said, well, there's a little bit of that in all
Everyone, there's a little bit
no,
there's a little
don't do
bit of
that.
that in all black women. There is. No, there is. There is.
There's the capacity. I will give you that there is the capacity
And
for
I'm
that
rejecting that
Hey,
fully,
to an
like
extent.
you can reject it
Nah,
all you
girl,
want.
your black girl,
There
black
is.
girl. Your
Because
black girl, black. Look, your inner black girl. Like I think we all
yeah,
have an
yeah.
inner.
Listen,
We've all black men have been trained to check their men, okay?
you know what? Okay, I will accept that.
And get him told. I don't care. I don't care. But Michelle Obama is in her from Chicago to check Barack, okay?
Listen, I will accept that. However,
Okay.
I'm with a man that wanna allow it. He ain't like you ain't getting that off with him. So, you know, she gotta, I do still say like he's a weak man too, and I like I stand on that. He's a weak man, but nobody deserves to be talked to like that.
He's compromised, okay? It's basically it's a trade-off, right? He gets used to the car, he gets to live in her house, she pays the majority of the bills because he has a place. He has to take that kind of abuse from her because that's the trade-off. Sex, emotional labor, and attention, right? Okay.
Mm.
To make her feel better about herself. That's why she has him. Have a baby by her. Say I got a daddy at home, even though she got to take care of him
Right.
because she don't want to be alone, but she's insufferable. Okay,
Mhm.
to put up with her, this is what he has to go through. He's compromised. That's why
She even tried to check his friends, questioning them. She started interviewing the friends.
because they're all under the same contract. What did he say? When she said whose car is that? That's his girl's car. Hello.
Wow.
What am I missing here? Ian, we got about Ash probably got maybe like 15 minutes. Ash,
Yeah, I
is that
actually
good?
got to drop down now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
15 minutes is fine.
15 minutes good for you
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay.
Okay,
All
all
right.
right.
Wait,
And then
before, I want to know what you
go ahead,
got.
real
What
quick.
you think. But see, the cap is with these women is that they act as if somehow they don't see this on a regular, just going to the grocery store where you got the young female cashier thinking that she can talk to grown men any old way that she wants
mm,
to. This is pervasive throughout our community, and you guys are cap and act like you don't know this is part of how you're socialized and part of the how men are socialized.
Yeah, it is.
oh, I
It is.
said that. I acknowledge that. I said I see it all the time. And listen, I would be remiss if I pretended that that is not a part of the community and not a part of our culture. I was
I
denying
just
that.
said
It's
it's
in
not in
me.
me.
I was
Like I
denying
just
that
said,
it's in
I
me.
didn't say they
Ash,
don't do that. I said what
Ash,
I can't do.
Yeah.
Ash. What about your
Okay, to
history,
an
baby?
extent. It's not in me anymore. Anymore. Okay. I am a look,
That part. When you
my
know better,
husband,
when you
look,
know better, you do
Oh my
better.
I
God.
can't do that to I could never, first of all, even as an influencer, and I say this very humbly, like
Uh-huh.
even as somebody who's amassed my own platform,
Hmm.
there's just certain type of content people aren't gonna get from me if it's emasculating my husband, if it's
Right.
making it look like my husband is in
Right.
any way, shape, or form not the head of this household. Like
Yeah.
I get picked on all the time on the internet for my stance when it comes to
Yeah.
it's just certain things I'm not going to say to my husband.
Yeah.
It's certain things other women are not going to say to my husband.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. So I'm not saying that it look, that
Yeah.
hasn't been there,
Yeah.
but in
But the
this
problem.
marriage, it is not.
Hold
It does
on,
not
Ian. Hold on. Let
exist.
her finish, and you go right after that. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, but the problem is that you keep saying my husband, my husband. In real
Hmm.
life, your man is not just looking at how you treat him; he's looking at how you treat other men too, as well. And a lot of you chicks are getting away with this, talking about my husband. I don't do this, but if you out there doing this to other men and he sees that, yo, that don't tell me that
I,
you can just
I, I,
compartmentalize,
I,
right?
I,
And
I,
go
No,
from
I
I
don't
get.
treat other men like that either.
exactly.
I can
Come on now.
tell how a woman, a black woman, cheats her husband while how she is out in the streets. Okay, you can
yeah.
tell. You can tell.
That's the thing. Like
If
my
I
respect
treated
for
other
my
men like
husband.
that, my husband wouldn't be my husband. So I
Right.
say my husband because I don't treat any man like that. Like I grew up in a two-parent household. First of all,
Yeah.
my father was the head of my household. So black men get a level of respect from me, period, because that was what I've been
Absolutely.
taught. Men get a level of respect from me, period, because that was I was taught. So
Right.
when I say my husband, understand, Ian, that my husband wouldn't be my husband if he ever saw me treat another black man or speak to
Right.
another black
Yeah.
man.
That's true.
He checks me about the way I've spoken to my father in front of my father.
Mm. Yeah.
I I would
I,
like to also say for me, like my love and conviction and commitment to black men would not
mhm.
permit me to talk disrespectfully to black men. I do have a
That part.
platform in an all male space, so I get fiery on my platform, but I
Mm.
still love and
Yeah.
respectful to black men even on my platform. But above that, I also understand that my protection of my husband extends beyond my treatment of him and to the streets. Because if I were to disrespect another black man out in the street, I'm putting
Mhm.
my husband's life in jeopardy.
Mhm.
So
That
why would
part.
I ever? So therefore, I'm protecting him by being respectful
And
to black men in
and
public. I
and,
don't speak
and,
disrespectfully to black men in public.
and respect and love shows up differently for black women than it does for other women. Okay, Asian woman is not going to be the same. Love is not going to show up the same way in an Asian woman that it shows up in a black woman. It's not. It's not the same
Because
thing.
we
We
don't
weren't
have that
socialized the
same.
same way. We're not socialized
Yeah.
the same way. I tell black men that it's not going to show up the same way. Is that what you want? Because this is who they are. Stop pretending. They're not going to be white. They're not going to be Asian. They're not going to be Latina. This
True,
is who they are. Is that what you want?
true.
It's right. It's right. And but
And I've had black women mommy me and do all kind of shit. Right? Thing is, wait a minute. These bras actually love me. Okay, so what's going on here? How are they taught? How are they taught to actually show love to you?
yeah, you know
Mhm.
what? And I
Yeah.
guess my
Go ahead.
last point, I guess, would
Go ahead.
be, I guess in some cases you guys get away with it because you guys dog whistle, or you think that you can disqualify a man, and then he can be attacked. It's like, oh, he's different than all the other men because he's a dusty, and because you have determined in your mind, that he's disqualified from getting the respect of black women. And I think that's the underhanded way that you guys go about go about
It
that.
it 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 is cultural, it's social, it's cultural, and black men are going to have to start learning that. Okay, it shows up differently according to how you were raised. And that's the hardest thing to actually teach black men. It's not personal. Okay, this is who they are. This is what you pick. Okay, just like when you pick a different kind of car, a Toyota is not a Ford, and a Ford is not a Nissan. The car that you pick has characteristics. What do you pick? Why do you want it? And women
But I
and
don't
women.
personally,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't make exceptions for, like the way that my love and who my love shows up for when I talk about like loving black men. I'm
Uh huh.
not loving black men. I'm not loving a select group of black men. I hear black men in this space separate themselves from the ills of black men, but my love for black men extends to all black men. I pray that the ills of black men get their ish together. I'm an optimist. I'm hopeful. I romanticize black culture and the black community and hope that one day they do grow into thinking and productive black men. So I'm not
Yeah.
saying I love and respect black men except for, save for those black men. That's not how I operate. I'm a conscious black woman. I love
Mm-hmm.
my people, period.
Yeah. But not enough of us do, and not the
But
right
how do
way.
you get there though? You saying you're hoping, but here's where it kind of falls flat, because you're the one who raised these boys to be that way in the first place, right? And you're saying you hoping, and so it's like I don't know. It seems like it's kind
Yeah,
of disingenuous when
it's
you
garbage.
raise the boys.
It was the old saying, garbage in,
I
garbage
don't
out.
have sons, but
I
so there's that.
Garbage in, garbage out. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a daughter.
Yeah. And I got both. Okay, garbage in, garbage out. And I've heard it too many times, right? And Monahan said it back in '65. If there's only one child that should go to school, is it going to be the boy or the girl?
Mm.
And we're in the black community. In white community, it's always the boy. Jewish community, it's always the boy. Who is it in the black community?
The girl.
The girl. It
Yeah.
shows you where the value is in the black community. I've heard that many, many times. Never heard that about the son.
And Ian, to your question, you know what I do? I even to your point, I use my voice. I use my platforms. I have 3 different platforms where I am making sure that I speak to and speak about the goodness and I combat the negative stereotypes against black men. I have conversations and facilitate conversations so
Mm-hmm.
black men and black women can come together so that we can have conversations to bridge the gap and to bridge the divide between black men and black women. I promote positive things about black men on 2 of my separate platforms that are solely one specifically that is solely dedicated to positive image of black men and what they're doing in communities and how they are specifically isolating things that black men are doing in black communities and black excellence related to black men. So I do use my voice and my platforms to uplift and highlight the positive things about black men, but I don't specifically have sons.
Yeah, I got 5 grandsons. Okay, I'm looking at it. Okay, and I'm looking at the gynocracy work. So I'm looking at it. And I watch it. I watch what women actually focus on. So I'm looking at this in real time. It's not about changing it. As far as the black community, what do you actually want? What are you actually going to actually do to actually get the result? Are you willing to do what it takes, or just give lip service to it? What do you really want? Ask that to men and women. What do you want?
Hmm.
How are you going to fix this? Do you actually want to fix this? It seems like you don't want to fix this because nothing happens. We point fingers, but nothing happens. What do you want? You want compromised men just like Pookie, like those 3 Pookies, which is far too common on different levels. Really, 4 Pookies. Actually, the one in the car is actually another one. 4 Pookies. Okay. What do you want? Why does he have 7 kids by 7 different women? Who you pick? What do you actually really want out of a guy? What does that show? Nobody thinks about that. What do you be honest about what you really want? Stop saying we don't want these guys. Bullshit. You do. Oh, he got to have swag. He got to sling. He got to sling penis, right? Got to have swag. Got to look good. Does that build communities? No. What do you want a concubine? I tell guys that all the time, right? They have, man, I got 20 girls in my circle, right? That I mess with. Okay. Out of first 2, I'll give you your main woman and your side chick. I'll give you that. What do you get out of the other 18? Well, nothing. You don't get nothing. They don't do nothing for you. They don't help you. Give you money, clothes, what? Because I was actually trained by Max. Okay. After the first 2, you got to get something. What are you getting? Nothing. You're a concubine. You're a male hoe for free. That's what you are. If you weren't slinging it well, then giving an orgasm, will they take you? No. So why are you doing it for free? You being a male whore, a male concubine for nothing. A female concubine would never go for that. Be sugar daddy, you got to pay my rent, car note, something. What are you doing? Why are you wasting your time, energy, and sex on women that can't do anything for you? I'll give you your main chick. I'll give you, right? Okay. If you want to do that for free, fine. Your side chick, I'll give you her too. So then after that, your third, fourth, fifth, what are they doing for you? Why are they around? Because they take up a lot of time, energy, and sex. Why are you focusing on them? You're a concubine, admit it. Guys don't like that. Go ahead, y'all.
But and I wanted to say, too, to kind of, bring it around, because the idea of hope, I think
Uh-huh.
I think in a lot of ways is what the problem is, because I think women in this new evolutionary theory, they think that somehow the world is just going to magically be the way it is without men actually maintaining it and building it.
We'll
And
find out, won't we?
yeah, we're gonna find out. And in order for men to do what they need to do, they need women to support them. And I
Okay.
think that's kind of lost to them.
Or they'll adapt to the environment, just like they're doing now. They'll adapt. Men adapt all the time. We can't get what we want. Guess what we're gonna do? Adapt. I'm gonna play this on the way out. This is Daphne Springs. You guys probably seen this before.
I'm back out here in these streets, dating. I don't trust niggas with their knees out though at all. Cause they be on their knees. Thank you to the 2 people in the back. Hey, how you doing, Catherine? You getting a photo of me? You look like you from the whitest place in America. Where you from? Connecticut. This is her first time seeing a black person on stage. She like, it's a leprechaun! Yes, bitch, you got lucky! That's why I wore green for you. Crazy. Back out here in these streets dating. Pandemic had me held down for a little minute. I jumped on Hinge. Any Hingers? You look like you on the BLK app. Liking men and women, these niggas be confused. Y'all sensitive as hell. I jumped on Hinge. All the men that I like don't like me because I didn't know it was whitepeoplemeet.com. So all the black men on Hinge like white women and all the white men like me. I'm not ready to date outside of my race right now. All my friends are like, you should try interracial dating. And I'm like, nah, that ain't for me. What's your name? Alex. Shut the fuck up, Alex! You like that? White men don't like for you to talk to them like that. They white in like that. What's your name? Shut the fuck up, Troy! You know what Troy gonna say? You shut the fuck up. And then 5 minutes later, we gonna sit in silence and he gonna be like, hey, you wanna go get something to eat? And I'm like, yep. Because we culturally understand each other. And I say, shut the fuck up to Alex. You know what Alex gonna do? He gonna hit me back with a date. October 16th. And I'm like, oh shit, that's the day we gonna get married. Oh my God, he is so sweet. October 16th, I'm gonna be on a boat. He gonna have his hands on my waist. He gonna say, pretend like you on the Titanic. And I'm like, oh. The next thing I don't know, I forgot about when I told him to shut the fuck up and he's white and he gonna kick me in the water. And I'm the type, I'm still gonna talk shit as I'm trying to like, I know you don't like that, I should have known. You're not gonna get that in my life insurance. But what Alex don't know is I have breast implants, so it's just gonna float me right back to the top of the water. You can't kill me.
Culturally understand each other. In a nutshell.
That's so problematic.
That's real though. That's real.
It's real. It's real. Why is it problematic?
Because even though it's like relatable to me,
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, like us, like, and I understand why it's relatable because we
It's
find
true.
that dysfunction is how we tend to communicate.
That's love. That's
But
love.
I don't like that type of love. Like, I'm not a black girl who subscribes to like I have to, in order for him to, I gotta be a little mean to him for him to know I love him. I gotta cuss him out. Like, we have to be going back and forth.
My grandson just went through it at 10. Got slapped in the back of the head by a little girl that liked him. Get his attention.
It's cool at 10, but in our 30s, it's problematic.
Little white girls at 10 don't, and little white girls don't slap you in the back of the head at 10.
No, they definitely don't. They just tell you they like you.
Facts.
Hey, Billy, I like you.
Yeah,
Do
you
like
think that
me too?
you think that goes away as you get to be an adult. We just saw that with the Pookies, right? Don't go away. It modifies, it gets older, but it doesn't go away. But things we need to think about this, actually examine this from the ground up. Michelle Obama does the same thing to her husband. I got to push his buttons and make him mad. Why you need to do that? I have to get him told. How many girlfriends actually come to work and say, girl, I had to get my husband told today. Then what do you think that's disrespect? That's a love language. We have to examine that and either live with it or actually change it. One of the two. Anyway, y'all, closing thoughts. Let the girls go. Closing thoughts, Ian, real quick.
I had 2 women tell me that, I wouldn't want a woman who didn't try to push my buttons and disrespect me. They actually in their mind thought that they like I said, they thought that was a love language. They said I wouldn't want a woman who wasn't doing that. That's what they told me. They said they're doing this shit on purpose because they think I wouldn't want a woman.
Yeah. She's too soft and boring for you if she doesn't, right?
Oh, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Concrete.
All right. Thank you.
Concrete. What you got?
I can say I've never been the type of person that's like intentionally nasty to anybody that I love. Like, I want people that I love to get the best side of me. I treat the people that I love and that I care about in the nicest way. I'm a very amiable person, but I'm friendly and nice naturally. So that's not how I generally operate. So I don't understand that. But I will say, I do know that is a thing. I have seen it. I can't, my nuance experience is not,
we ain't doing it in nuance. You have to deal with 44 million people.
Yes, I know that this is a thing, and I know that this is pervasive within our culture, and I have seen it, and I know that it's problematic. And this conversation that we've had tonight really is kind of one thing about this conversation that I'm replaying in my mind and it has me worried. It's something that you have repeated throughout the conversation regarding essentially just kind of that men are opting out. You've essentially said that men are opting out, and I've never thought about it in that sense. And that's worrisome to me, not for me personally,
And
because
not
I'm
just you,
married.
it's the whole
Yeah, but
society. Yeah.
for the future of, the Black community, it's a bit
hmm
worrisome. And so, I'm glad that I came up and was able to partake in the
Yeah.
conversation. If
Yeah.
for nothing else, for that thought being on my mind, for, something for future discussions, and just, something to think about, something to walk
Yeah.
away with, to just kind of contemplate over. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming up.
No problem.
And my girl Ash, okay. What you got, baby? Before you actually leave
So
for
in closing, for
hmm
me, I just really, and you know me, BGS, I'm like her, like I'm such an optimist. I really want us as Black women to do a better job of holding our friends, holding ourselves accountable to just our energy and just being better without having to, well, they're doing this to us. It doesn't matter. Like if you change, I promise you they gonna change. And that's part of like why I love this platform, because over here, like I don't feel shame for like holding women accountable to being better women. Like I don't feel bad for keeping the focus on how, but okay, that's cool what they're doing, but what are we
hmm
going to do different? So
hmm
I
Yeah.
love that on this side, like we have the discussions where we have to think about this, and that we have to self-reflect, and that we have to really not take myself I have to take myself out of my experience and look at what everybody else is doing, and
hmm
how am I gonna like show them like, hey, there's a different way to do this
hmm
than that.
Yeah.
And so, like, honestly, I just feel like the more we do this and the more women see, like, wow, maybe I don't have to be an entire bitch to get a man to fuck with me. Like, what? I don't have to be a bitch and he gonna fuck with me. And, like, for real, for real? He's not, like, he doesn't have to, like, fear me for him to love me. Like, oh my goodness. So I want to get to the fact that like we just respect our men. Like we don't feel the need to disrespect them openly, feel the need to put them down openly. And I
hmm
wanted to go both ways, but I like I said, I feel that that starts with us, cuz I mean, if you don't really give a man anything to respect, baby, what what do you want him to
I
do?
mean, the thing is what they call it when when we actually taking care of a drunk. What do they call that? When you're codependent.
Yeah, codependency.
Yeah, codependency. Men take it and expect that kind of treatment and that kind of disrespect because it's love to them. Men think it's love too. That's the problem. And women think that that's the way things are supposed to be. I'm supposed to actually damn near cuss out Barack Obama, even though he's president, for leaving socks on the ground. Okay.
Yeah, that's wild to
Yeah. What? You don't do that? I thought we all did that. That's just normal. Okay. But he's the president. It doesn't matter. Okay. No, he's still black. All right. Okay.
no respect.
The thing, but things we don't, when black women don't see that as disrespect, though, that's the issue. They think that's love. That's normal. She just
But
loves him. She cares for
but
him.
you saw in the video, they know the difference because she said she won't do it to Chad and
To-
Brad though.
Yeah, but the thing is, what she said, we culturally understand each other. That's black love, right?
Chad and Brad got the propensity to kill her ass. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. See, he's white. He's white. He don't get me. What do black women say? Why they date and marry black men? So I can be what I can be myself. That's herself. That's why. If I can't be myself, why do you think Kristen Carrison actually got divorced? She started dating black men again, so you can be yourself. Guess who she really is? She not the suburban black chick married to a white guy. She's uncomfortable. She's been uncomfortable for 20 years. Once the kids got grown, let me go date a black man so I can actually be myself. The thing is, okay, if that is the way it is, how do we make this work? If that's how you're going to be, how do we actually make this stuff work? That's what I'm saying. It, that's just want women to actually be honest about who they are and what they bring and what they expect, and stop with all this other, this other trying to make black men into white men that you really don't want. and blame it on them. Oh girl, I'm only this way because they this way. No, baby, we trained. My grandmother talked about chasing her husband with an axe back when she was young. Okay, it's been that way. It's been passed down. Thing is this who we are? And if this is who we are, how do we actually make it better? We have to start with actually admitting who we are. I'm getting tired of this stuff to say we're just not this way. Bullshit. Come on, let's stop. That's all I got to say. Anyway, all right, Ash, go take care of my little girl now,
Look,
and
she in my lap sleep. Look, she's in my lap sleep. I did what
and
I was supposed to do.
and give Trig some dap for me. Tell him I got love for him, and thank him for
Look,
sharing his wife with me. Okay.
I will definitely let him know. Look, let me pick this child up out of my lap. She been sitting here listening the whole time and fell asleep.
Oh,
So
she getting
look,
gamed up. She getting
look,
gamed
you
up.
know, we teach them. Look, teach a child in the way she should go.
She
She gonna
go.
get this game.
You're gonna get this work, baby.
She gonna get this work. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, BGS, for always having me and
Okay.
showing love. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining the panel, Ian. You all have a great night.
And did you want to pimp your channel before you go, or anything you want
Oh,
to push?
yes, you guys, you can find me on Instagram at the Ashby Smith. You can
Hmm.
find me on TikTok at the Ashby Smith 1. You can find me everywhere else at the Ashby Smith. That's Pinterest, that's Instagram, that's everything. So, yes.
I'm gonna remember to put her in the description next time, so you guys can actually get the links and go to her. So,
Absolutely. And I'll have them all typed up for you next week, too.
all right,
All right.
babe. All right, go take care of business. All right, Ian, we out.
We out. Peace.
Peace. Stop laughing, Negro.